Spent all day in an arcade, and you ate in an expensive restaurant behind the scenes. When the fuck did I say that? I said I ate at an inexpensive Indian restaurant. I told you the most expensive item on the menu was $13. I spent significantly less than I told you. My whole bill was under $30. Shit. Just to give you some perspective, last week I ate at Chick-fil-A, okay? And I think the total bill there was like $22. So I spent a couple extra dollars to eat at an Indian restaurant. I didn't say I ate in an expensive Indian restaurant, you fucking idiot. As for the arcade, I didn't say I even spent $1 at the arcade. I said we walked into the arcade to see what games they had because we had not been there in so long. I did not say we spent all day spending money at the arcade. You are a complete, brain-dead, empty-headed, vacuous piece of fucking human shit. And that's the truth, because you make shit up. You literally took what I said, you completely skewed the words into something to pass your own negative narrative, alright? You are a piece of human feces. You don't do anything productive for anyone, and you should really look in the mirror and reestimate what you're doing with your fucking life, because it sure as hell ain't worth a shit, okay? Alright.
Chopping it with Mittens, joking about his name is so fly. Mittens, cause he whipping, don't you get it, but that stove's hot, hot. Now let this be a lesson, professor. He handling and hitting his possession. Ooh, what you cooking? Scalding hot beats was blow up before it's cooking. Ooh, I know you're looking true. I'm out attacking with this beat, I'm a lady man. I'm really trying to date it out. What's the number trying to call out? What about my team? Wood, shout it, don't get logged out. Made by Bethesda, the only way we fall out. Morocco, you a mole. Find another hole to crawl out. Hey, I'm sick of squirrel with the biggest girl. Slay sister, case get up. I think you're stripping, girl. Damn, how sound that cliche, right? Well, I flame out brain.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, where there's going to be a small change in the upcoming weeks as it pertains to the format a little bit. As you know, this is kind of just something in process, a work in progress, if you will, before the new rollout. So you guys are going to help me gauge some stuff. And yet again, so expect a small change coming through in the next couple weeks. As you're seeing, I'm going to incorporate some new music, how the videos are going to we're going to add some videos in, so on and so forth. Look forward to all of that and whatnot, and just kind of give me an idea of what you like and what you guys don't like. I very much appreciate it. Now, so we have 3 videos today to make up our broadcast. Fun. So, first, all 3 videos will be brought to us by one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Actually, not Dspgaming, it's just DSP now. Sorry about that. First one is, the problem here is YouTube, and there's no way to verify what someone tells you on the internet. Okay, sure. Second video, Snort Burnell, DSP. My content is for adults. And only money matters, not the views. Oh wow, not the viewers, and not worth hearing opinions. Jesus Christ, he really said that? Holy shit. And last video, DSP, also by Snort Burnell, DSP. Let's see, I'm still in the red. No more house tours, and this has become a good way to make money. Holy shit, the second one got me tripping. All right, so first one. So the problem here is YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all kind of heard all this. Oh, it's because YouTube bottomed out because of Adpocalypse. Oh, it's because they changed their algorithm so the little guys can't get exposure while the big guys still have get all the exposure and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, it always comes back down to Phil, because one, when he was, air quotes, I'm not even calling him white hot popular, when he was relevant, if he had made the small changes at that time, which he had the money to do, and he had the people around him that could have done it for him, which is what ended up happening anyway, if he had made those small changes, he probably would have been in a better spot. But he didn't want to. He wanted it to be stupid easy. He wanted everything to be simple. He wanted his little 10-minute videos out. He wanted his little 10-minute videos out $30 a day so he can get all of his little ad clicks and so on and so forth. He wanted to go ahead and have his camera on his table pointed at his TV because he didn't want to do direct capture because he thought that was going to be too much. He bitched about streaming. Everything was always super complicated. So that's why YouTube fell out for him anyway. Everybody else adapted. Everybody else moved forward. He's the one who's been sitting at 100,000 for what? 8 years or whatever the case, well, 7 or 8 years, and has never gone past that. He plateaued early, and it was because he wasn't willing to take the steps needed. Let's see here. Let's see. There's no way to verify what someone tells you on the internet. Well, we can verify all of your lies, Phil. That was actually pretty easy. So, because you pretty much, pretty key air quotes, pretty much have every piece of your life documented over the last 10 years. So it wasn't hard to go back and find out what you lied about and what you didn't. As for what you say now, whether it's true or not, it's not a matter of trying to verify it right then and there. As the slogan is over here at DSP News, give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. And you always do. You will always come back to a subject that you'd already talked about a week before, a month before, a year before, and you'll completely retcon it. You'll completely revise it, the story. And so that automatically kind of puts it all in place. If not, people will poke holes into it right away, and then you'll get mad. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2019. It's the year of debunking. Let's see, my content is for adults. Sure, that's amusing. Let's see, only money matters, not the viewers. It is not worth hearing opinions. If he really said that, well, this is always how it's been. To be honest, that goes back to my first point about YouTube bottoming out, because the people who cared about him and who was trying to put him in position, he wasn't willing to take the steps needed to make him, to let himself compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like between 2010 and 2013, he thought he was like king of the hill and he could do no wrong. And he found out the hard way. And by the time he went ahead and made the changes, thinking that he would still be ahead of the pack, he came to realize that you're just now adopting the industry standard. Everybody else has already blown you out. And on top of that, they've already evolved. They've already gone up the next, they've already taken the next stairs of creativity and of success. By the time he adapted direct capture, to be honest, it was already outdated. He was already 4 years behind. He was already 4 years behind when he did that. You know what I mean? Same thing with him playing Minecraft. How long was Minecraft out and popular and consistently popular before he now started playing it as a chill stream? Yet again, he's years behind the marker, and then he gets mad and is like, well, why is everybody changing? Just like his whole situation about, oh, my racist jokes or whatever. Oh, well, back when I was a kid, everything was cool. Yeah, well, back when you were a kid, you guys were still running around beating people up for those type of reasons, to be honest. So let's be serious. I mean, not to say that this still doesn't happen now, it just doesn't happen as frequent, but you know what I mean? You guys were out there saying and doing some really nutty shit back in your day that didn't make it any more right then than now. And more importantly, you're just not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Phil said those things, he said it with malice. You can tell he said it with malice. You know what I mean? Just like now, when you see him playing a video game and someone black comes up, all of a sudden he's excessively chewing at his hoof, like he's trying to fight back, saying the N-word or something. Obviously he's not trying to do that, but he's trying. You can tell he wants to say something. And he knows that if he says it, he's going to be fucked. So he has to go ahead and chew at his hoof to kind of hold it back. That's scary. And when I mean that's scary, I don't mean that's scary for me. That's scary for him. That's scary for him that he can't control himself, that he's developed a tick to basically prevent him from saying something that obviously is going to get him in the shitter. And he knows it. That's why he developed the tick, to stop it or to try to prevent it. That's insane. And he runs around talking about people mentally ill. How the fucking mentally ill are you? You're so you have a disdain for black people, or for any person of color really, to the point where you have to chew on your fucking fingernails and shit to keep you from saying something until the scene passes. And that's not something, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's normal. Okay, sure, whatever. Sure, whatever. Let's see here. And the last one, I'm still in the red. Okay, he's still broke, I guess. and no more house tours. Well, you gotta hide everything that Kat wanted you to buy, or Catherine wanted you to buy, and this has become a good way to make money. Ladies and gentlemen, if nothing else, excuse the rant that happened a little bit earlier. If nothing else, Phil has proven, even though it was proven before Phil, to be honest, but Phil's been doing it for over a decade, so it's a different story. It's been proven that e-begging can be successful if you have no type of shame and you have no pride about the situation. Phil is universally known for that. He's, like I said, Phil's never famous. He was never famous. He'll never be famous. He's infamous. He's infamous for more than what he even realizes. He thinks people a lot. Let me give you an example, actually. When I first started doing this, right? People were like, "Oh, why are you shitting on him for? He's just a bad gamer, yada yada yada. Why are you guys blowing all this shit out of proportion?" What that told me at that time is that most people, the casual YouTuber, especially someone who's in the gaming sphere, if you will, didn't actually know a lot about DSP except for he's shitty at games. The depth of it comes further down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one knew, or at least for the casual viewers, I should say, they didn't know about the manipulation. They didn't know about the abuse of his own fan base and the cult-like mentality. They didn't know about the begging and so on and so forth. And trust me, there was begging back in 2017. You know what I mean? There was definitely begging in 2017. But that begging, it was a gradual process. You know what I'm saying? He still did it. It was just a gradual process. If you look at what happened, like I said, in 2017, 2016, 2015, and you look at now, almost everybody well, not everybody, most casual viewers understand that Phil begs for money. That, like, it used to be he snorts and he's bad at games. Now it's like, oh shit, this last dude that begs for money all the fucking time. That's what his reputation is. And a lot of people know it, and it continues to spread. He can't stop that. So much so, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, that, oh, damn it, dude. My bad, man. One of you guys dropped me an email the other day, where you guys talked about apparently there's a new lady who's throwing herself into the ring. Now, granted, she's not a love interest or anything. She's here, actually, I'm going to try to look for it while I'm talking now. She's, some chick on Twitch, right? And she's been showing up to Phil's streams as of late and whatnot. And I would assume she's going to pull, because I haven't looked into that super duper serious yet, but I would assume she's pulling a Bad Bunny. So let's see, here we go. Okay, from Dark Bike, spelled with I think it's supposed to be a 1 in there instead of an I. Good shit. Alright, so for Dark Bike, apparently a chick by the name of Vanessa Reach has been, shouts out to Dark Bike. Apparently a chick named Vanessa Reach on Twitch has been sitting there coming through on Phil's chats and Phil's chat every once in a while, big upping him and doing all this nonsense. Now, like I said, I haven't looked into this, but just from what my man's got right here, I would assume this is a thought. And I assume she's going to go ahead and pull what Bad Bunny did. Now, if you guys don't know the full story on the Bad Bunny thing, let me try to summarize it as quickly as possible. So, Bad Bunny ended up catching some infamy earlier on this year, some notoriety, in the worst type of way, when she said that if you come to a Twitch stream, any streamer's stream, and you do not give money, you are a leech. That's what she said. She's known all over the place for that. You look up Bad Bunny and that shit pops up. Well, people were like, oh shit, there's a female DSP. So that's what people started to equate her with. So what ended up happening is, instead of her getting butthurt about it or being mad, she started to be like, well, who the fuck is DSP? Okay, well, I'm gonna start to look into DSP. So what she did is what, as I've told any of you who have been around here for a while, that there are people on Twitch that only react to YouTube videos. She does too. But what she did is she went and looked up Detractor content and watched it on her streams and got paid ridiculous money to do so. Maybe not ridiculous, but she got paid money to do so. And that's how she found out who DSP was. Then she went into a stream a couple times. You know what I mean? Cracking jokes, this, that, and the third, whatever. And then she eventually gets banned by one of his mods, and then that mod went on some AWOL type shit. Whatever. But to make a long story short, she pulled a move she was exposed to DSP. She made some pretty good money off of him for a couple weeks. Some of his former mods, as well as current mods at the time, even went over there and was throwing money at her and swaggins. Actually, after he got kicked up off the porch, he went over there to talk to her for a little while and try to sell her his sob story, thinking that she was going to do anything, and she basically took his money and smacked him back over. This chick, apparently Vanessa, is going to do the exact same thing. That's exactly what her move's going to be. She's going to siphon off some of the fan base a little bit. She's going to siphon off the money, and that's it. Now this is something that I've talked about earlier in this year too. Well, a few months ago, is that Phil has transitioned. Let me reword that. I apologize. How people look at Phil has transitioned, on Twitch especially. Because Phil has no respectability on Twitch at all. He has no pull, he has no muscle, he's not associated with anybody, none of those things. People don't look at him as a threat. And because they don't look at him as a threat, they have nothing to worry about. Since there's no reason to revere him, except for if you try to pull some con game shit, the Detractor community will go over there and eat that shit up. No one feels the need to do that. So what happens after that? What's in between those two? To exploit Phil. And that's what's going on. Now, this was something that Boogie tried to do earlier in the year when he put his little thing out on Twitter saying that, you guys need to leave DSP alone. If you guys want to bully somebody, bully me. I can take it. That was Boogie just saying, hey, throw that money this way. You know what I'm saying? Because, Boogie's a bitch too. And he fin sits a lot anyway. So I would assume he thought he was going to make out like a bandit, but he doesn't want Boogie doesn't want any of his dirt coming out. Especially when 9/11 happened and he got mad that people didn't go to his little porn site. He don't want full stories like that to pop out. But that's neither here nor there. So that's what Phil is looked at as now. He's looked at as a laughingstock, as a joke, as a beggar. But he's also looked at as something to be taken advantage of. He's someone that you could make a name off of and definitely get some views, definitely make a good amount of money, and then you throw him away and let the next person pick him up and do what you want and do what they want with him. Now on Twitch, you're seeing that too. Bad Bunny started she's the front runner on that. You know what I mean? And now everybody else will be able to move off of it. Now here's the crazy thing, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not what Tevin ended up getting? Allegedly, well, we don't know why Tevin got kicked off, praise be. But isn't that why Tevin ended up getting knocked off the platform? But yet everybody else is doing it and it's all gravy. Now, someone could put the argument out there, oh, well, Bad Bunny, for example, was watching Detractor content, whereas, Tevin may have been actually watching some of the actual live, like he was watching Phil live. Here's the problem. At the time that Tevin eventually ended up getting knocked off, he hadn't watched any of Phil's content for months. You know what I mean? After he ended up, I think he took a suspension or something along those lines. Tevin can clear this up if you ask him. I think he had gotten suspended for watching maybe one of his poorly cooking videos or some shit like that, and he took a hit on it. After that, he came back clean. You know what I mean? So we're talking about months upon months where none of this happened. I'm thinking, as most people have speculated, Phil ended up getting Tevin knocked off because of what he's doing on YouTube, but that doesn't make any sense because that doesn't affect Twitch, or it shouldn't, because it's not on their platform. But that's neither here nor there, because doesn't Twitch have this thing where if you go ahead and act up like a nut on Twitter, for example, or on YouTube, especially if you're a partner and you're representing them, you can be disciplined for that? But Tevin wasn't a partner. I don't even think he was an affiliate yet. I think he was on his way to those things, but he wasn't there yet. So why are we letting just a regular user getting knocked off for something like that? It makes you think, right? But either which way, Phil is just going to be used by outside people. He's so worried about the detractors that the very people who are also partners or who are going to be potentially be partners on Twitch are going to just use him. And he won't do anything about it because he's a coward. You know what I mean? It's easy just to go ahead and blame Tevin for everything. You know what I'm saying? Because why not, right? But all the other people who are going to exploit you, all those other people who are going to take advantage of you, oh, I'm not going to say nothing to them. I'm not going to do that. I mean, granted, it's not like he calls out, like, who else restreams? Dark Dave Mirrors, LSB, shouts out to them. James the Lesser sometimes. He never mentions any of them dudes. But we always go ahead and hit Tevin. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of seeing how Phil's mind works. And it's because of that very one-dimensional mindset, that one-dimensional thinking, is the reason why he fails the way he does. Sorry about that. That's the landscaper outside. I'm going to have to go ahead and put my foot to his ass in a minute. But maybe I won't. Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, instead of doing all that, I'll go ahead and bring things down a little bit. We'll talk about SnortBucks coffee. SnortBucks. I love SnortBucks coffee. When I go into one of these rather early broadcasts, it can get a little bit stressful. A little bit. Dealing with Phil's bullshit. But SnortBucks coffee always brings me back. Its serene taste and aroma reminds me that this little bit of stress is nothing compared to the mental gymnastics that DSP goes through. And then with just a smidge of the salt from the Volt Boy mines, it makes all the difference. SnortBucks coffee. It's your coffee. It's my coffee. It's the coffee of the detractors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast proper. You've heard me rant enough at this particular point. Let's go ahead and get into the bacon and we'll start carving shit up, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network of Productions. You guys all know the slogan, and I don't smell no bacon cooking yet. So let's go ahead and get to that position. Let's go ahead and get everything set up. You know what I'm saying? Please take your seats at the table and whatnot. Hopefully you guys have your SnortBucks coffee and or drink of choice ready. All under the SnortBucks brand, hopefully. And it's time to watch me work. That was quite ranty though, wasn't it?
I'm just a nerd, shawty. Hey, I'm just a nerd, shawty. Street Fighter 2, that is my dude. Dark Cloud 2, that is the new. I like RPGs and everything. Metal Gear Solid, man, that's my swing. Hey.
Time to play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
And I have to warn everyone, warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
What a crazy...
One can only hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the first video that will make up our broadcast. We're here with Snort Burnell, DSP. The problem here is YouTube, and there's no way to verify what someone tells you on the internet. Here we go.
day it was in the realm of Xbox gaming. So for those of you who were not around yesterday, maybe you just weren't paying attention to all the hoopla, Gears of War 5 has released for Xbox Game Pass holders. The game actually cannot be purchased full-fledged for just non-Game Pass holders until Tuesday of this coming week. But if you had the Xbox Game Pass, you could play it early. Well, didn't go so well for the Gears team, Coalition Studios. The game barely worked yesterday, apparently, from what I understand, and everything I saw on social media. It looked like it was a big mess, that everyone was trying to log in and play, and the servers were crashing. Everyone would join a match, and then the matches would drop right in the middle of the match. Essentially a pretty bad situation, considering that many people wanted to play the game multiplayer, because it is a very competitive multiplayer game. It has its own tournament scene and everything. So a lot of people were pretty angry about that. And then Coalition kept patching the game over the course of yesterday, trying to get it to finally work. And as they're doing this, Xbox Live goes down completely. Now that has nothing to do with Coalition, by the way, but still, that's kind of like the double whammy. So first the game doesn't work, so the game dev tries to fix it, and then the online service that's needed to play the game online goes down. So it's like the double whammy, seriously. In reality, it was funny because a lot of people were like, oh man, Phil, you're going to be off on the day that Gears 5 launches. That's kind of unfortunate. You should be here for a new release. Turns out that actually it made sense and actually worked out well, because I might have been here trying to play the game all day and just not being able to even play it because of all the issues that were going on. And it might have been more of a disappointment than anything else because of all the issues.
It might have made a good rant, though.
So today, hopefully, we'll be able to have uninterrupted fun in Gears 5. A few things about later on this week, a few elephants in the room to address. First of all, supposedly, at some point in the next 1 to 2 weeks, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta is launching. Now, I'm going to be in this thanks to a fan who actually gave me their code to do it on PlayStation 4. So I'll be in this beta, but I don't know when it launches. There's been like conflicting information about when the beta will actually launch and when you can actually do it.
Wait, he didn't try? Did he not pre-order the game? He's been big upping this since it was announced, and he didn't even do a pre-order on it. Okay.
Very interested in the Modern Warfare beta because, you know, we've all been asking, is this new Call of Duty game going to play like the classic Modern Warfares like they've claimed, or, you know, are they full of crap? The only way to find out is really to play the beta, right? So I definitely want to do that whenever it's live. I don't know when it's live. If it's live sometime this week, maybe I'll do it right away. You know, I don't know. I want to see when it's actually going to,
Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, there was an Alpha 2, but he skipped that, so.
you know, become available. The other thing is, the next big release of the month, I would say, is Borderlands 3, and that's coming out this coming Friday. I don't even know if I'm playing it. I can tell you right now, I'm not doing co-op, because I've thought about it, and basically people complain that when I played Borderlands co-op and other games co-op, that when I play these games co-op, I don't have enough opportunity to interact with my stream chat, and it becomes more about me.
Now, I want you guys to hear this excuse, because this is like the new thing going around, where he doesn't, well, one, he doesn't have the money for Borderlands, despite the fact that he should have the credits for it. He should, but whatever. Especially with all the games he skipped on each console, respectfully, especially the Switch. He skipped a bunch of great games. If you guys have been watching LSB streams, I shouted him out earlier, you guys have seen a lot of the games that are being played over there, and you're seeing a lot of the great releases that Phil missed out on. Which, excuse me, Phil does have an audience for, but whatever. Phil knows what's best for them. Now, his reason for skipping out on the co-op doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. For one, you demand, yes, and I said it, he demands money from these people daily, and yet you won't participate in these co-op games because, oh, other fans are saying that you don't get a chance to interact with them enough. But this is the same idiot, ladies and gentlemen, who complains it's starting to become almost a regular thing. It's a semi-regular thing at the moment, that there's not enough interaction in the stream chat and there's not enough people talking to him. Like, there's enough material out there to start making compilations. If not, it's definitely been woven into compilations. So it's very obvious that there are people out there that would play with him, but he won't. but he won't go with that because he says that the people in the stream chat get mad because he doesn't interact with them. But that doesn't make any sense because the very people that are in the chat are the ones who would go out of their way to buy the game so they could co-op with him. And more importantly, wouldn't it actually be in all good faith to actually co-op with people that are in your chat who give you money on the regular? And give more incentive for those who are in there who may not contribute or not contribute as much to maybe start doing so now they can go ahead and get into some co-op sessions? But he won't do it because he's paranoid of everybody, even the people who give him money. And he would rather it be a hands-off type of situation or a hoof-off type situation. Let me explain. I'll try to be brief, but I probably won't. What Phil wants at the core of it all, right? This is what he wants at the core from streaming, is your money and your praise and your obedience. That's it. He doesn't give a shit about an opinion, which we're going to find that out in another broadcast or in another video coming up in this broadcast. He doesn't give a shit about your opinion. He doesn't give a shit about your feedback. None of all that. Whenever he does a poll or he asks you guys for feedback or whatever, it's the illusion that you guys have a voice. It's the illusion that those people have an actual say-so on what's going on. At the end of the day, Phil is going to go ahead and veto all of that shit if he feels the need to, and go ahead and insert in what he wants to do. But then he gets mad at those people when things fail. Like, for example, another little hot take he had the other day is, oh, his YouTube channel is the way it is because people asked him for years to go to hour-long videos. Now he did, and now everything's all messed up and he can't go back to the 10-minute format. In truth, that's his fault. That's what it really comes down to. Just because you put out an hour-long video doesn't mean you should try to put the maximum amount of ads on it. And that's what he does. He tries to cram in like 10 ad rolls in that shit. That's unreasonable. But in his head, though, oh, well, if I can't make 10-minute videos, if I can't have 10-minute videos with one ad each, then I'm going to have to do the longer videos. And because of how the algorithm's set up, I have no choice but to do this now. So I'm stuck either which way. But then, isn't it true that you are going to be screwed no matter what? Because the 10-minute, if you're saying that the algorithm punishes people who do 10-minute long videos, which obviously is not true. It's true for him because he spammed the system for so long. But if it's true that YouTube actually punishes his channel for 10-minute videos, right? Then you would have had no choice to go to the hour-long format. And more importantly, you could have done it over a period of time. You could have made this a gradual change. You did it because you had no choice. You did it because your back was against the wall. And now you're too lazy and you're too complacent and you're too comfortable with hour-long videos. Because when he had to do that whole cut every 10 minutes, cut every 10 minutes, cut every 10 minutes, it was annoying. That's the reason why his head bobbles back and forth all crazy in the first place. Because he always had to keep an eye out on when the 10-minute mark was going to come up. Or 10-plus minute mark was going to come up. Now, he's comfortable with chilling back for an hour or so, and then go ahead and cutting the video and doing it that way. And not having to give all of them individual titles and having to give them all copy-paste like tabs and shit like that. Or tags, I'm sorry. So that's what it's really come down to. It's a form of complacency more than anything else. So him blaming the fan base because he had to go to hour-long videos isn't true. He did it because he had no choice. Now, does YouTube favor longer videos? Yeah. But people told him that years ago. Because that's what other people do. Unless they're doing edited montages or they're just taking their playthrough and combining it together in something very edited, very creative. Which Phil isn't willing to do. He tried that a couple times. He didn't get the views off of it he felt that he should have, so he abandoned it. That's what it comes down to. It's nobody else's fault but his own. But I'm jumping ahead, though, a little bit. Let's continue.
Oh, the show's all about me. It's all about me.
And the teamwork and camaraderie with my friends, which is fine. I enjoy it, but apparently my viewers don't. My viewers have basically told me this is not very fun when you do that stuff. So I'm debating, do I want to play Borderlands 3 solo or not? Do I want to play it solo playthrough and play it over time and have it as a more interactive stream with you guys? Because there's going to be a lot of grinding. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a lot of grinding in there, and it's going to be more about us interacting and talking and having fun while I traverse the world versus me being hyper-focused on the game. If you remember when I played Borderlands 1, I did it as a solo playthrough, and it really, honestly, was not a fun playthrough for me. I even said, while I was playing the game, a lot of the times the game felt like a boring grind, and then when I finished the game, people were like, well, that's because you played it solo. But now, if I played solo with people interacting with me on the stream, maybe I would like it better, okay?
No.
So I guess we're gonna see. Alright, I'm debating playing it, but
I think it's not just the and like I said, Snort Burnell brings up a good point about hating all games, because obviously that's what the case is. I think it's also a trust issue too. Like, he can't trust anybody. First off and foremost, even these people who give him large amounts of money, he can't trust them because he doesn't want them. He doesn't want to trust them. He wants them to just come through, give him money, and get the fuck out. But that's not the only thing. He doesn't want to get hit with the Wings of Redemption meme. I've been thinking about this for a little bit. So, if you guys follow Wings of Redemption or the Wings Report, it's been a while since I've done one of those things, but I got a couple in the clip, so it's coming. Especially, I got some stuff coming up on that. The meme around Wings in Rainbow Six Siege is carried to Diamond, right? It's a great meme, by the way. And the reason why that is because Wings, or Jordy, he's not as good as he thinks he is. He's good, but he's not that good. And you can tell that his reaction time and everything is kind of slowed down a bit. So when he praises about, oh, I'm at Diamond, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, you look at a lot of the situations where he had, on his way to Diamond, I should say. You look at the people who he was partying up with, which mainly were his friends, right? It makes sense. You look at some of the bad plays he made, some of the bad call-outs, just situational type shit. People carried him to that position, hence the point the meme carried a Diamond. DSP knows that, because DSP keeps up with some of that shit. He tries to act like he don't, but he does. He doesn't want that. In a co-op game type situation, Phil has never been one to try to give credit to somebody else, especially if you look back at the Brian and Kekken era with Apex Legends. He doesn't want all the credit to be given to other people without him being in that limelight, which is one of the problems with Apex. Brian was outshining him all day because Brian has a really good personality. Kekken actually had the technical ability, so people were giving him some praise. DSP wasn't doing shit. He was just sitting there doing lame-ass call-outs. Oh, they're coming from this direction. Take a shot at him, asshole. I need to go back and I gotta go out there and hoard for items and shit that he didn't even use. I saw games where Brian, who was already on a kill streak and could have just gone ahead and continued to move up to the objective, I apologize actually, could have moved up to the objective, abandoned that, had Kekken give them cover fire so they could go back and get Phil's dead ass. That's insane. That is insane that those two, at times, ended up giving up on the objective to go back and get his bitch ass. Just so it looks like Phil wasn't dead weight. Which is exactly what he was. He was dead weight to them. He was dead weight. He wasn't calling anything out. He never thought about trying to learn the maps. He always tried to go for the same type of weapons over and over again. He was not stealing. He was hoarding resources from them. You know what I mean? When honestly Brian or Kekken could have used those same items and could have used it more effectively, he was dead weight. And people told Phil that. And that started to get him rattled. I think that's one of the reasons why he doesn't want to play Apex anymore. He says, oh, it's not relevant, no one's playing it, this, that, and the third, yet there are still people playing Apex up to this point. I think what it was is that if Brian wasn't there, the interest kind of dies out. And like I said, Kekken was getting a good amount of shine off that shit too. Because guess what? Brian and Kekken actually really enjoy the game. They both still play it, I think. I know Brian does. That's what I think. Well, yeah, I think Brian still plays it. I think he plays Siege too, actually. Now I think about it, Brian's played Siege with Wings too, hasn't he? I'm gonna have to try to find that video. So that's what it comes down to. But these are guys who actually enjoy gaming, not Phil. And so you're gonna have Phil play games that he doesn't really want to play, or he doesn't even like, right? Then you have to play co-op with other people who are going to outshine him, even when they're not trying to, because they actually like games. And they're actually going to learn how the games are supposed to be played, right? And they're actually going to have a legitimately good time with it, while Phil just looks at the chat and waits for the money to roll in. And then Phil's going to get carried, and people are going to call him out for getting carried. Phil doesn't want any of those things. He doesn't want any of those things at all. And that's the reason why I think we're giving up on co-op. He's talking about some dumb shit, ladies and gentlemen, that happened 3 or 4 years ago. What happened to that whole bullshit he pulled in 2017 about I'm all about looking forward and not looking back? Yet we're going to go ahead and take opinions from people who probably aren't even around anymore from 4 fucking years ago about what's going on right now. Given his financial situation and given the fact that more and more people in his audience are starting to look at him and be like, you know what, I don't think you really like games, Phil. So, but now he's going to continue to isolate himself from the very people he depends on. The very people that he should be trying to show, not just his own audience, but the people in other observers in general, right? That he does actually enjoy what he does, and that he is trying to actually clean up his fucking act, and he is willing to actually coincide with people, especially from a gaming realm. How the fuck are you going to be a gamer and not play with people? Especially on a very public forum like this. It's almost unheard of. And there's nothing wrong with gaming solo. I'm not saying that. There's nothing wrong with gaming solo. But we're talking about a game that is basically made for you to do co-op in, even though it does have the single player option. And yet you're choosing not to because you give a shit about what people said about you years ago. That's insane. And this is coming from the same idiot who will play the same game over and over and over again to prove that, oh, he wasn't as bad years ago than he is now. Sure. That makes a whole lot of sense. DSP News.
To be very honest with all of you, I don't even know if I can afford it. Like, right now, I'm monstrously overdrawn on my bank account. Let's put it that way.
Give me money.
I don't even know if within a week I'm going to have enough money to clear that up and then be able to buy a game. You know, if maybe someone gifted me the game via, you know, maybe buying some PlayStation Network credits and stuff on my wish list, then I could get it. But at this point, in the next week until I get paid by Twitch this month, I don't even think I have money for anything. Like, seriously, like, I can't. It really sucks. I mean, it's just reality, though. Like, this is my life right now, is that sadly I just don't have money for anything. You know, if I can't afford anything in the next week, maybe what it'll be is I just play other games that are for free for now. Like I know on the Switch, there's a bunch of SNES games that were just released on the Nintendo Switch for the online, people who have Nintendo Online, which I have.
So but what about all the credits that you were given from for the Nintendo shop that you've admitted to having? Where's all that at? First off and foremost. Second, yet again, as Snort Burnell said, it's obvious, and as people have already said too, he's obviously trying to put all the new releases behind paywalls. That's obviously what this whole situation is now. So then why didn't he push for this sooner? Or he was either trying to drum up a bunch of false hype and an influx of money to come in so he could get the game with a little bit of a bonus on top of that. You guys don't catch that reference. I talked about it in a recent broadcast. Just recently, I referred to it about what happened with Plague Tale. You guys remember that, right? It was like $40 maybe for the game. It might have been 60, but I think it was like $40 for it. He ends up drumming up somewhere between $500 to $700 and still try to pass it off like he couldn't play it until he eventually got it. I think he's going to try to do that with every new release. You know what I mean? Especially ones that he sees that are in demand. But I'm not going to go into that particular explanation because that's just a whole other clusterfuck in itself. But it's obvious that he has a motive behind doing this. And it's only hurting him. It's not hurting anybody else, because if Phil refuses to play a new release, they'll just go somewhere else. Phil isn't the end-all be-all. They'll just go to someone else and do it. And watch them do it, I should say. They don't need him. And for some reason, he hasn't figured that out yet. Or he's under the pignosis on himself that, oh, if I don't play the game first, or if I don't play the game, no one else is going to watch it until I do it. That's ridiculous. So, I don't know. It says this business, if this is his new business model, it's going to fail it's going to fail like his marriage. Just give it time.
You know, and Gears 5 I have already, so that's a good thing. But things are just very awful for me right now. You know, it sucks. And I can't, you know, really, we're going to talk a little bit, because yesterday I had off, and I'm sure today people are going to ask me, what did you do yesterday and everything? Answer really is I didn't do much. Didn't have any money. You know, we celebrated my wife's birthday, and we went out and we ate Sonic. I'm not even kidding. This is what we ate yesterday, Sonic. Because we really couldn't afford anything.
Give me the...
Whoa, you did what? Okay, let's... Oh, whoa. Okay. Alright, we're gonna talk to the fellas out here for a minute. So it's your girlfriend, fiance, or your wife's birthday. We'll go ahead and go with wife so we can match the piggy situation here. It's your wife's birthday. Let's say that you don't have a lot of money to spend. You know what I'm saying? So you have like a set budget. You got to work with what you have. You know what I'm saying? You were able to get her. Hopefully, it doesn't even sound like he even got her a gift, even though I'm confident that he did. But let's just stick to what we know. They went out yesterday and they end up getting Sonics. That's all he could afford. Sonics. That's all they can afford. Okay. So let's think about this, guys. Excuse me. Let's think about this. You don't have a whole lot of money to spend. Resources are kind of low, whatever the case may be. What do we do? Okay? Okay, team huddle. What do we do here? Well, first off, we cook. That's obvious. Get up early, right? Get up early. You see what you have. See if you can make a nice breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to go with something simple, actually. Pancakes, bacon, sausage, French toast. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of get witty with it. Whatever it is that you have, you can make something happen. So we go ahead and do that. You serve her breakfast in bed. You go ahead and make her breakfast in bed and whatnot. Have her kind of, after she has that, after she's good after about a half hour to an hour or so, go ahead, run a nice bubble bath for her. Go ahead, plop her in there. Give her a nice back massage. Be like, hey, I got to run to the store. I'm going to be back. Now, like I said, you don't have a lot of bread right now, right? So if you have to get 2 single roses, right? Couple of rose petals, and then whatever you can, right? Because he's not that broke. And then you go ahead and pick up stuff to actually make a nice lunch and a nice dinner, right? That's what we're gonna go with. So if I was in this situation, come home after go ahead and getting everything we need and whatnot, I would definitely put something together for like a picnic or whatnot. Because literally the mountains are like not far from where he's at, and there's plenty of nice walking trails and parks around his way. So they could actually just go out there and spend the day doing that, at least the afternoon, if you will. And then after that, then you have dinner. Now, this dude is supposed to be Italian, right? Oh, I'm sorry. He's supposed to be Polish. Oh, I'm sorry. Now he's half Italian, half Polish. Oh, I'm sorry. Now he's a quarter Italian, a quarter Polish, and a quarter mystery meat. Whatever. Now what we do is you draw upon what little bit of Italian that I guess he has, right? And you whip something up. You know what I mean? Whip up some pasta. Whip up some lasagna or something. Make some peppers and onions and whatnot with a side of pasta. Dude, come on, let's get creative with this shit. You know what I mean? And while you're at the store, hopefully you picked up a nice bottle of wine. Preferably red, but maybe you should go with red and white so you have something for dessert. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I think I head on shit like that. And you put it all together that way. Now, all of that, he could probably pull all of that together. I guess, well, let's see. I prefer a good bottle of wine, honestly. He could probably get all that for under... He could probably pull all that for under $100, 120 maybe. He's gonna have to go on the cheap end with a lot of that shit. A lot of that stuff's gonna have to be sacrificed. But if he's broke, then you make what you have. He could probably, okay, let's say this. He could make all of that. He could probably pass by with all of that for under $100. Easy. It's not gonna. He's gonna have to really whip it together in that kitchen though to make it all kind of pop. But he can get away with all that for under $100. Because the wine's going to be the most. I say 150. All right, sorry, I'm overthinking this. The point is, though, I say under $200 we can make all of that happen, right? While still setting the mood for the whole day. It can be a rather fun day. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, her birthday is the one day that celebrates her, right? Because she's not a mother yet or anything, and it's showing your appreciation for her. You know what I mean? Especially since she is your wife, right, Phil? So, right, Phil? Unless this is what I've always said it was, and it's just an arrangement. This is all for convenience. With that being said, you can make shit happen. You really can. And Phil didn't do any of that at all. Now, he said they went to Sonic's. Now, if any of you guys have watched me for any period of time, or watched any other Detractor, you know that on Phil's day off, they don't cook anything that day. They go off to this breakfast spot that Phil really enjoys. He's probably taking Panda there too. So that's where they go for breakfast. Apparently, Sonic was lunch. Let's just run with that. And then they probably went somewhere for dinner. Do you really? So I guess my first thing is, after overthinking all of that, one, do you really believe that Phil took Kat out to Sonic's and that's all they ate all day? That's the first thing. Second thing is, you really think that Kat, they've been together for what, 2+ years? You really think that she was gonna let a birthday go by and she wasn't gonna get a gift? Or she wasn't gonna get gifts? Thirdly, if any of you guys are over there with the DIA, if you're not, I implore you to go over there and join the agency. Agent Proper, the DIA. You'll find the link of it in my description in the directory. Great channel. He did a live investigation recently going over Panda and Phil and their birthday celebration. There was some gold dust in there. One thing that stood out to me was Phil, for at least 2 years, possibly 3, you'll have to ask Agent Proper about that they actually celebrated her birthday late by like a week. And they did that like 2 years in a row, possibly 3. So it's funny how Phil's crying about they couldn't do anything on her birthday because he was broke, but he made Panda wait a week before they went out and did anything before they celebrated her birthday. So if he broke right now and he wasn't going to see any money for like 10+ days or whatever, why didn't they postpone Catherine's birthday for a week or so when there was actually some money available? Huh. So you're going to be broke on your wife's birthday and still go out and try to celebrate it while being broke. Just something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Yet again, thank you to Agent Proper of the DIA. I very much appreciate it. If you guys want to see the best, see one of the best and your go-to source for live investigations, the Pig Roach Report, as well as he has the agent updates, and he has one more thing. Live investigations, the Pig Roach Files. Sorry, it's Pig Roach Files. Live investigations, Pig Roach Files, and he has agent updates, and as well as just DSP lore altogether. Check out Agent Proper of the DIA. I would very much appreciate it. Here we go.
And went grocery shopping and just ran errands and stuff. We went to a couple pet stores and looked at cute pets and animals, and just basically did normal stuff that we would do on a day out because we didn't have any money to do anything special for her birthday. I really would have loved to do something, but You know, that's just my reality right now.
Really?
So it sucks. I would love to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna play Borderlands 3 and we're gonna have a good time, but I don't even know if I can afford it. So we'll see what happens, I guess, with that. All right, I'll be balancing everything this week to try to do as best as I can to cover Gears 5 along with all the other playthroughs I've been doing. Once those are wrapped up, I'm definitely interested in the Modern Warfare beta when it comes out, because I have it already. But as for Borderlands 3 and all that, I don't know. It's all kind of up in the air right now. All right, guys?
I'm doing my best. I really am. It's not easy, and I don't want to bother you guys with all my financial problems and everything behind the scenes, which are very shitty, and you guys don't need to be bothered with them, all right? But right now, if you want to help me out the most, if you want to try to help me get out of this shitty situation, the two best ways would be, number one, to tip me. Oh my God, it's terrible. Another way you can help is my Amazon wish list.
Oh! Benefactor.
Oh,
Where are we headed?
that is disgusting.
Retro Jim did another 100-bit share. He says, can your bank waive overdraft fees as a courtesy? Nope, there's no way they're going to do that. It would be one thing if it was like, you know, the first time it happened, but pretty much a lot of times this year, this has been the constant thing with me. Because essentially, the problem here is YouTube.
It's not my fault. It's YouTube's fault. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
YouTube used to make me at least a decent amount of money every month. This year, YouTube makes me almost nothing, and I have no way to make up for that lost money on YouTube. So essentially what happens every month, it hasn't happened every month, there's been a couple months that have been pretty good, but I pay all my bills, and then the YouTube payment comes in, and it's minusculely small. This used to be what used to be allowing me to afford everything, and then I'm strapped for cash for 2 weeks until I get paid by Twitch, the first 2 weeks of the month.
But that's not YouTube's fault, because one, he was already in, I feel like a broken record, but I'm gonna keep going with it because it's true. He was in a decline from the jump. From the time he started making money on YouTube, he was basically going into a decline. So that's the first thing. In Phil's head, he's thinking about the money he was making at his peak, right? At his most. He's thinking about that. Because that's when all the begging and everything kind of started coming into play. When he was making ridiculous money, and he started to see that drop. And once the drop got to the point where he was really starting to get annoyed by it, that's when he started to basically be like, hey guys, I need you guys to watch the videos. I put out all these things. I'm working really hard. That's kind of when it really established, because he wanted the big money he used to make. But he's been in decline for years. That's kind of the first thing. Second thing, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one who said that YouTube is an archive channel now. That's all it is. There's no comments on there, right? Sometimes the likes and dislikes are disabled. He's effectively killed his own channel. Because even with, most of you will probably be like, well, hey, come on, GTG, let's give the guy a little bit of credit. What about the comment section? If anything gets a little bit crazy, then he's kind of screwed, right? Don't they do that thing? Well, first off, YouTube backed up on some of that, just a little bit. But then there's two more things. One, if there's a filter system, so he can choose what words and what phrases he wants to be filtered out. Two, YouTube by default, will go ahead and grab anything that they feel that the algorithm feels that is offensive, or whatever the case may be. It'll automatically grab that and put it into basically like a quarantine until he goes over and reviews it. That's basically what they do. So he can't even use that as an excuse. So because the likes and dislikes are sometimes disabled, and because there's no comments to be said, there's no comment section to be had. He's cut away all of his interaction. Anything that was worthwhile is gone. That's his own fault. It's nobody else's. And the only reason why he did that is because he saw PewDiePie and Angry Joe do it. And they didn't do it long. They eventually went back. So that's what the situation is. And that, and Phil's butthurt because he doesn't want to show any of his comments to show up in any Detractor videos, despite the fact that what is said on Twitter, on his forums, and in his stream chat still shows up in Detractor videos. So he still ain't winning. He's gonna have to make sacrifices if he wants more money out of YouTube. But YouTube's just an archive. So in truth, what's disabling the likes and dislike on videos doing if it's just an archive? What's taking the comment section away from anybody if it's just an archive? And keep in mind, we have a drastic disconnect. Like I said, I got to get up with Karma Kid because he actually made a map. But with North Galtopia and South Galtopia, for any of you guys who are new here, let me explain. North Galtopia is Twitch. South Galtopia is YouTube. There's a disconnect between the two because not everybody, obviously, has transitioned from South Galtopia and made the migration up to North Galtopia. So he still has a small, very small, fan base over here on YouTube that is basically stuck with mediocre videos as if they were ever good anyway, and no comment section. They can't even, if they have grievances or even praise, they can't say anything because they don't have the means to do it. And he's really wanting people to go over to Twitch, but they don't want to go. They want to stay here. So yet again, he's screwing himself. And if you try to explain to him, because I'm sure someone can articulate it better than I just did, if you try to explain this to Phil, he's going to be like, no, I'm not going to do it. The detractors, the detractors, the detractors. So he's not even thinking about money. He's thinking about the detractors. So how much of a financial situation is he really in? He's mad that there's a decline on YouTube because, one, he's not putting any effort into it, and two, how are you going to be mad and blame anything on YouTube when it's just an archive? But in truth, this dude right here is butthurt because of some bullshit image that don't mean shit anyway. Your image is already garbage, and you're begging day in, day out. Why don't you try to alleviate at least some of that by going ahead and allowing your YouTube account to get the interaction needed to bring more people in? But you don't want to do that because his ego's too goddamn big. So I'm tired of hearing this YouTube rants about it's YouTube's fault. It's YouTube's fault. It's his fault. It's his fault, and no one needs to handhold him through that. He's a grown-ass man. He's been doing YouTube for what, 10 plus years? If he don't know how the game is played, that's on him. Let him suffer for being ignorant, not everybody else. Dspnews.
This happens almost every single month now. And it really, really fucking sucks. I don't even know what else to say or do, you know. It's just reality for me. This is my life right now. Hopefully things will get better in the long run. For now, there's no really way to get around it, alright? So, no, it would have been one thing if it only happened once or something in there. Oh, okay, as a courtesy. This is happening regularly, like, all the time, so there's no way they're going to waive fees and shit. And by the way, this is how they make their money. So, no, I'm pretty boned in this regard. And the other thing is, people are like, well, then why do you allow your bank to overdraft you? Well, because if I don't, then my bills don't get paid, and then I can't keep the electricity on, I can't keep the internet on, pretty important stuff. So, the bills have to get paid, okay? Uzi Go Hard cheered and said, I have an offer you cannot resist, 500 Monopoly bucks for 5,000 of your finest penny points. Sound good? I think I've had enough Monopoly money in my life. But I appreciate it. My penny points are far more delicious than Monopoly money, by the way. I don't know if you heard about this. They're gourmet penny points. They're really good.
Penne. Oh, penne pasta is great. I prefer penne because it's easier to eat. You gotta slurp it. It gets all over the sauce. There's something to eat it properly. It's fun and delicious. You can eat it easily. Okay, wow. I received a $100 anonymous tip. Go fuck yourself, and thank you for the tip.
If that was true, then Catherine wouldn't need Jim. That's the first thing. And this whole you're gonna hear it in a minute, but this whole anonymous $100 that he keeps getting is rather fascinating. Let's go ahead and go with this.
Yeah.
Did everything correct, Cheers? Since you reached your tip goal, I guess you're good now. No, not even close. In fact, that's not even enough to cover what I'm overdrafted on my bank account. It's just that I'm not going to be an unrealistic jerk and be like, oh, I hope that I could raise a ridiculous amount of money in one stream just because. I say a realistic amount. If people wanted to be supportive, we hit it, great. The tips goal motivated people to contribute. I really still need the help via tips. So, if you guys can still contribute, please do. I'm a long way from being out of the hole at this point. Let's put it that way. Chick the Snake tipped me $1 and now says, man, when you lie all the time to protect your family, like when you lied about being married to Cat, or you lied about having a cat with Jasper, how can we believe you when we say that you're overdrafted? And how do we know anything you say is true? Or should we just take what you say for granted and take your word for it, man? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have something I need to tell you. This is very important. Okay, this is very important, so I want you all to listen up.
There's no way you could verify anything that anyone tells you over the internet.
Why the fuck would you say that? You want to tell the truth now? Okay, so I want you guys to think about this for just a second. So this idiot is going to sit there and say there's nothing that you can verify for anybody on the internet, or anybody tells you on the internet, which is obvious, right? Unless you're willing to get into Inspector Gadget mode and really look that shit up. But this is an idiot who depends on people to take his word so he can pay his bills, allegedly. And yet he's going to tell these people that. And this is supposed to be a deflection for what? What is the end game that's going to come out of telling people this? All you're doing is instilling more doubt into them. Oh, well, if nothing that Phil says can be verified, or sorry, if nothing that anybody says online can be verified, then why should I take your word then, Phil? But we've all heard this rant before. If you don't believe anything Phil says, then just leave. Well, that doesn't sound like an honest person, does it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you demand money from these people on a regular basis. But now you're just saying, now you're going to go ahead and continue to let the genie out of the bottle. And be like, if you think I'm lying, then just go ahead and accept it and then just leave. And let the rest of us stay in peace. Which is basically something that he said. Holy shit.
Lying. Alright? Any content creator on Earth can say anything on a stream and be full of shit. Or they could be truthful. And guess what? There's no way for you to ever verify that. They could be talking shit the entire fucking time. That's like me, right? That's like me. There's no way you would ever know. Alright? How would you prove anything, right? I'm pretty sure people who say things on streams don't pull out their fucking financial documents and start showing you all their important behind the scenes information and shit. Right? This doesn't happen.
But other people don't beg like you do, though. And that's the problem. It's similar to something that Tevin had said recently, that there's always something he said it in an older video that I watched recently, that there's always something going on with him. There's always some type of financial crisis, one after another after another. Oh, it's back taxes. Oh, if it's not back taxes, it's my current taxes. Oh, it's not my current taxes. Oh, I'm going to lose my house. Oh, if I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose Cat. Oh, my parents are sick. Oh, we actually have Jasper. Oh, so these are just examples I'm giving. That's not what he said, but I'm just giving you examples that I'm giving. It's always something. And all of that shit's tied to finances. And that's why he never gives anybody a direct amount. How much do you owe for your overdraft for this month? Oh, a lot. Oh, well, how much do you need to go ahead and cover your mortgage? Oh, a lot. Well, how much do you owe in credit cards and business loans? Oh, a lot. Like 21 Savage in this bitch. 21 Snorts. That's all he's doing. There's never a solid amount. It's just give me a lot. Give me a lot, and I'm gonna be back tomorrow to beg you for the same shit. Matter of fact, in one of the Tevin streams that happened recently, someone had brought up that right after he got all of that money from Emerald 7, after he ended up collecting on all that money, a ridiculous amount of money, between what, 12,000, maybe even 15 grand, he still came back the next day and begged for money. He still came back and begged after he got all of that money from Emerald 7. It'll never be enough. And that's where the problems come into play. But now he's going to sit there and say, oh, everything I could say could be bullshit, or it could be the truth. You'll never be able to prove it, so just go with it. God damn, man. His parents must have dropped him. He must have not have been wanted, because his parents must have dropped him on the floor way too many goddamn times. Nobody with any semblance of common sense would say this. They just wouldn't. Especially when you have this many people that you're trying to convince to give you money, and you have this many people who you know are at your neck trying to catch you in lies. And you would say something like this. And what ground did you cover? What's your next move after this? If you are a DSP fan, let him know this. It doesn't even matter who says it, but let him know this. We're playing chess out here, not checkers. And that's why he's been losing for years. That's why every detractor has gotten over on him. That's why detractors have been able to profit off him. That's why these Twitch thoughts are getting money off of him. He's out here playing checkers while everybody else is playing chess. And he just hasn't figured it out yet. And as long as that's the even flow, he'll be taken advantage of. He will be a victim, just like what he's done to other people. That is karma. That is his up and comings, if you will. He victimized people off of their generosity and their sympathy for years, and now people will take advantage of him. They're just not going to be slime balls and try to and use sympathy to do so. They'll just profit off him directly, which should hurt him more. It should hurt him more that he's being exploited out here like a product, like a piece of meat. And if he's not smart enough to realize that, then he deserves what he gets. DSP News.
Unprecedented that anyone would even ask for it, because the truth of the matter is, if you like somebody, you like the content they put out, then you tend to trust them. Right? Am I right? If you're watching someone stream on a daily basis, and you enjoy the content they put out, and you probably like the kind of person that they are, you tend to trust them, and you tend to believe that what they say at least has some truth to it. All right,
but that doesn't mean that a level of skepticism shouldn't be there. I don't care how much you like the content. I don't care how much you like me. I don't care how much you like the people that are associated with. If I come out to you guys day in, day out, and I keep telling you that I need money, but I'm not giving you guys specified amounts. I keep telling you that I keep having these financial crises over and over and over again after I have large windfalls, right? Large payoffs that you guys clearly know about because I've told you, right? And I keep telling you guys I need more and more and more. You should be skeptical. You should be skeptical of it. Or skeptical of it. Sorry. You should be. That's just how it should be. It's the internet. We have too many people that go around and get away with too much bullshit. Let me give you guys an example. So, we're going to go over here and let's go ahead and put your hands together real quick for praise be almighty, right? For the doubt, the gout, and the snout, if you will. Amberlynn Reed. You guys all know about her, our favorite little chunky monkey. She is embroiled, and she's wrapped up in a really interesting situation with a GoFundMe because allegedly her mother-in-law, which isn't really her mother-in-law because her and Becky aren't dating, but Becky's mom, which is Amberlynn's girlfriend, mother allegedly has cancer. Now, whether she does or not, I don't know. I'm just now kind of getting into this to see what it's all about because that shit sounds really shifty. But whatever. Allegedly, Becky's mother has cancer. They started GoFundMe to get this money. Now, Amber, as far as we know, has no parts in actually starting the GoFundMe. She was basically she was basically patched into this to promote it on her channel, which is what she did. She made a video about it. That video eventually ended up getting taken down because she broke YouTube TOS by doing what she did in that video. But you can still find it. And then she makes a follow-up video basically saying that it's disgusting what people are doing and there's no reason why you guys should be doubting her, so on and so forth. It's cancer. Who would lie about something like that? So on and so forth. Now, I'm sure some of you here who've been on the internet for any period of time, you've heard or you've seen different YouTubers, Twitch streamers, or just different internet personalities lie about having AIDS, having cancer, losing parents, losing loved ones, all of this for the pursuit of the almighty dollar. This is nothing new. The thing is with Amber, in her particular situation that's fascinating, is one, she may not actually have anything to do with the situation. If, for example, let's kind of back this up a little bit. Becky's family, this isn't the first time Becky's family has probed Amber into plugging something that benefits them financially on her channel. One frame of thought is, this is all a big lie, and Amber is in on it. Another frame of thought is, this is all a big lie, and Amber's being used, and she doesn't know it's an actual lie. She's only going with what's told her. The third one, which is the one that I really like, a guy named Zachary Michaels. If you guys follow Tevin, you'll see it on Tevin's stream sometimes. You'll see it in his recommended videos or whatnot. Zachary Michael has an interesting theory that it's very possible that Becky's family has dirt on Amber. And that's why whenever they want to promote something financial that will give them, that will put them in a position for finances, for a financial windfall, if you will, that's why they use Amber. Now, whatever they have on Amber, who knows? But whatever it is, it's very strange that she would go out of her way for them. Especially if you've ever seen Becky's sister on Twitter, she wows the fuck out. She's definitely an exceptional individual. But that's neither here nor there. That's basically a sum up of what's going on with this whole GoFundMe situation and this whole cancer thing. So I just wanted to throw that out there as an example. The point being is that it's the internet. Plenty of people have lied about plenty of shit. I'm not sure if any of you guys even remember this, but there was a Twitch streamer. He was a pretty popular one too, a couple years ago, who said that he was handicapped. He said he was bound to a wheelchair. And he had this act going on with him and his girlfriend for years. That he was confined to a wheelchair, or he was paralyzed from the waist down, or whatever the case may be. And after one stream, one successful stream, I should say, he gets himself up and out of the chair and walks away from the table, not realizing that the stream is still on, and even more than that, not realizing that the camera was still on. Completely unraveled years or however long that scam was going on. People really thought he was paralyzed. People had paid for a new wheelchair. They had paid for a lift. They had thrown all this money at him to supposedly help him with his disability. And in actuality, him and his girlfriend were using that money for whatever. This is the internet. You have to be skeptical. If you want to donate to someone because you appreciate what they do, that's one thing. But if you're going off and clearly e-begging like this, saying that your money is going towards something, right? It's going to actually have a purpose. That's different. And there's a level of skepticism that should be there. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially if you do it as frequently as Phil does. For any of you guys, though, who want to look into the Amber Lynn thing, you should. That's a real interesting thing. Two people I recommend to you is, like I said, Zachary Michaels and what's that other dude's name? Oh, and Michael B. Petty. They both have gone over it, and then from there, a bunch of other people will be recommended to you. So, and someone reach out to Tevin, see if Tevin's actually heard anything about the situation, and if so, maybe he'll do a stream on it. But that whole situation is unraveling in a very strange way. And my closing thoughts. Because of that, there's a small rift, if you will. Not a rift, a divide, if you will, in the Amber community right now. Because, one, it's very possible that Becky's mother does have cancer. And so the GoFundMe hopefully goes to that. But because of Amber's history and because how Becky's family has kind of wilded out online and have used her, in air quotes, before, it makes people think that there's something very shady and very shifty about that situation. If you guys are interested, you guys should look into it. It might be, you can find out Kiwi Farms is all over it, for example. So it's an interesting watch if that's something you guys want to go for. All right, anyway, back to it.
You give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Now, you're absolutely right that in some regards this year, I had to lie about things because I had to protect my family, right? If I had told everyone that I was going to Connecticut, partially to visit my parents, but partially to get married while I'm there would have been 5 million trolls attempting to ruin my entire time in Connecticut. Whether it was trying to prank my fucking parents, ruin the wedding in any way they could. They'd probably be trying to look up venues and stuff for where the wedding was held, which was hilarious because it was just at my parents' house. But you see what I mean? Like, they would have literally gone out of their way to try to ruin things and risk the health and safety of my family. And that's how they are. They're fucked up. They're mentally fucked up people. And I certainly don't have any kind of trust that they would not try to mess up my life. All right? So...
But he can't prove that anybody has done that or would do that. Which is why the Panda Lee, her brother's wedding is always a point of conversation. At the end of the day, and I want you to really think about this, for any of you guys who remember it. If not, let me give you a quick synopsis. One of Panda's brothers, or Panda's brother, I'm not sure if it was her only one or not, was going to get married. Obviously, Phil and Panda were supposed to go. I think either Fallout 4 was coming out or Fallout New Vegas. It's one of the two. I always get it mixed up. I apologize. But the point being is that They were supposed to go to the wedding. Phil basically hyped it up for the weeks leading up to it that they were going to go back home so they could go for Panda's wedding. Then all of a sudden they didn't do it. And Phil had even said up till like a week before that, the new Fallout game is coming out and I really can't afford to miss it, but we have to go to this wedding. I'll more than likely play the game and upload it while I'm in the hotel room. Then all of a sudden, we're afraid that we were told, we uncovered this nefarious scheme that supposedly a bunch of detractors were going to dox the wedding and they were going to SWAT it and they were going to do all these things, and we had to talk to the family and basically said for the safety of everybody involved, and more importantly, not to ruin this one day, this special day in Panda's brother's life, we're not going to get married, or we're not going to go to the wedding because we don't want to ruin it. Okay. Now, that's the long and short of it. It's definitely summed up. I'll get into something more expansive later because I do need to go over that situation. At least give my opinion. Here's the problem. One, I don't believe anybody wanted Phil that bad that they were willing to screw up somebody else's wedding to do so. It sounds like bullshit. It sounds like propaganda. It sounds like fear-mongering. Two, you, Phil, were not important for that situation. Panda was. So, hear me out, ladies and gentlemen, as I say this. You shut the fuck up. You get in that car. You drive Panda to the airport. You let her go to that wedding. And then you pick her ass back up when she get home. That right there alleviates all that. Because, trust me, Phil wasn't bringing anything to that wedding of significance at all. He wasn't relevant. Panda was. That's Panda's family. And that's Panda's brother. So, with that being said, Panda should have been at that wedding. She deserved that, and her brother deserved that, and more importantly, their family as a whole deserved that. Phil didn't need to be there. Phil wasn't relevant for that situation. That's what should have happened. Instead, he sat there and kept that girl home while he sits in that office, allegedly, and, I say allegedly, I mean his office. It's just a fucking bedroom. While he sits in his bedroom, in his office/studio, while he sits in there and plays Fallout, and she's sitting there on the phone with her family, upset that she couldn't be there for that wedding, because Phil ain't sat there and fear-mongered Panda more often than not about this whole scheme, and made it seem like she was just as much of a threat to her own family as Phil was. That's what my problem is with that. So now, just off the basis of that, because I know a lot of you in the audience are somewhat, you understand that situation, you're familiar with it. So now I'm supposed to believe that if Phil ends up getting married, he's going to definitely get shit online. But you really think people are going to bring the fight to his doorstep, or to the venue of if they were going to get married at a venue, and really ruin it? Is someone going to go out there and get pictures of it? Yeah, I'm pretty confident someone would. Is someone literally going to pull a fire alarm and ruin, Kat's dress, or ruin the cake, or ruin all of that for their family members who didn't even show up anyway? No, I don't think so. They had a really small wedding at his parents' house because that's all they could afford. More importantly than that, that whole trip to Connecticut was supposed to go and see his words, not mine, his sick and dying parents. That's how it was pitched to us in the beginning. Then all of a sudden, it slowly but surely devolved, right? Into, they're not that sick, but they're kind of sick. They're not that bad at all. I just haven't seen them in a long time. They know about all the stress that we have, and they just wanted to give us a week away from all the bullshit. Then we end up getting married. So it's funny how the story kept devolving as time went on. But yet, you're supposed to take him seriously. You're supposed to take everything he says as the gospel and at his word, while you have all these people out here who can prove it by using his own words against him. And yet, we're all the liars, we're all the brain-dead idiots, we're all the sociopaths, we're all the miserable individuals, because he's clearly taking advantage of people, and that shit needs to be pointed out. People need to understand that you don't have to throw your money at this idiot. You could invest it in yourself, or give it to someone else who's more, or give it to people who are more supportive. You don't need to be stuck with Phil. There are other people out there that you can You know what I'm saying? That you can participate with. There are other communities that you can be part of, and your word will go further than your money will. Because not every streamer's out here to get your money. Phil, that's all Phil cares about, is your money. But yet, we're wrong for that, right? DSP News.
That being said, I have to do things that are essentially necessary to protect my family. All right? I'm not going to be 100% truthful and transparent about every single thing if it has to do with my family life, because I've learned from the past that when I was 100% transparent and truthful, people used that information to hurt me and my family members. It wasn't just me, it was my family that also was affected by it, and that's not fair. My family doesn't stream, my family doesn't make content for the internet, my family never did anything wrong, and for people to fuck with my family is incredibly corrupt, toxic, and just disgusting. Okay?
But yet again, what proof does he have? Yet again, he's expecting us to go off of his word that any of this happened. The only thing that sounds even remotely possible is, as Snort Burnell has already said, is that maybe someone sent his parents a letter talking about what kind of a miserable individual piece of shit that they raised. But all the extra stuff about supposedly swatting his parents and doing all this nonsense doesn't even sound right. And people knew who his parents knew his parents' address because they knew his address when he doxed himself back in Connecticut, as well as I'm sure other ways too. Because he's the one who said it himself. He's a public figure. If you want to find out who he is and where he lives, you can do that, and that's what people did. So that's the first thing. Secondly, he can sit there. He's been doing this fear-mongering thing for a while, talking about, oh, there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we can't tell you about because we don't want to have other people get inspired to do it themselves. You know what I mean? You don't know what kind of messed up stuff that happens to me and Kat behind the scenes, and we're never going to speak about it, this, that, and the third. So how can you ever really prove any of that's ever happening? And you see how he acts when someone gets him all flared up. You would think if someone really tried to come for his neck in the reel, he'd have said something up to this point. He would have said something. Just like how he had to tell us about Kat existing, or Catherine's existence. Just like how he had to tell us that him and Kat got married. Just like how he had to tell us about Jasper. You're telling me he'll go ahead and let all that shit out the bag. He'll let all those kitty cats, all that puss in boots out the bag, but he's not going to sit there and tell us about people who are harassing them behind the scenes and go into detail? For profit? Fuck out of here.
So you have to understand that. Now, if you don't understand that, it's very simple. You're immature. You are probably a child at least in the mentality in
your fucking head, that you don't understand that not being 100% truthful with my viewing audience on Twitch at all times isn't more important than protecting my family. You know what I mean? Sorry, family comes first. It's that simple. All right? So, you know, that
really, family didn't come first when you first told us that your parents were wanted you to go home and see them. Remember that, Phil? Family wasn't first then. What's the first thing that you told us that you told your mother? Oh, I can't because I got these tax issues and I don't have the money to go. But now all of a sudden it's family first, right? After mommy and daddy said they were going to go ahead and flip the bill and make everything all expenses paid, right? Because that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Not only did they pay for the trip there and back, but they paid for the hotel, they paid for the rent-a-car, and gave them pocket money, and they pretty much bought everything, and paid for the wedding, or at least for everything needed for the wedding, and more than likely gave them parting gifts and additional money when they left. And they also paid his mother, flipped the bill and paid the taxes for him too. Sounds like a pretty good trip to me. It sounds to me like your family was trying to like his parents were trying to put him first. But initially, when he talked about the situation of having to go there, he said he couldn't go because financially he wasn't in a position to do so. But now all of a sudden it's family first, right? Just think about that.
Said, understand that not everything that I say or do is going to be 100% transparent just for those reasons. And you should have the common sense to understand that. But that's the problem. People don't have common sense these days anymore, right? And especially those who criticize me. That's what they claim. Criticize, right? It's criticism. Sure it is. That's what they claim.
Well, it is criticism. You want me to believe that you're lying for the greater good, and that all these kids and all these disabled individuals and all these other man children who sit there and follow you, They should be okay with you lying to them because it's for a greater good. They should automatically take everything you say as the gospel. And if he retcons it later, you can't get mad at him because he was doing it to protect something bigger. That's basically what he's saying. Give me money for these situations. If I end up turning around later on and telling you that all of that was a lie, and this is the real reason why I needed this money, or why I'm not actually telling you where all your money is really going that you're giving to me, that's supposedly supposed to go to my bills or taxes or whatever, don't get mad at me because I'm doing it to try to protect my family. The problem is that it sounds like bullshit because he can't prove that anybody's coming after his family in such a way. Kiwi Farms has like a no hands off policy when it comes to that shit. It's an unspoken rule in the Detractor community not to go to that level. So if there are codes and ethics on this side of it that everybody has to abide by, why is it that there's that same rule? I'm sorry, I apologize. Why is it that those same rules of engagement don't happen over there? I thought we were supposed to be the brain dead idiots. We're the sociopaths. We're the liars, right? We're the psychopaths. But yet, all the psychopath and sociopathic shit happens over there. That happens on Phil's side of it. And he's telling you, as well as telling his audience, to overlook that because it's for a greater good. And no one has a problem with that. Well, no one over there anyway. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that.
But it's just stupidity. Alright? It is. It's stupidity. I have no obligation to be 100% transparent with all of you about my complete personal fucking life, especially when it means that people would use that to hurt myself or my family members. Alright? So, you're right. There's been times when I talked about that kind of stuff when I wasn't 100% truthful. And you could say, well, then that's justification that whatever Phil says is a lie. If you believe that, you are incredibly immature. You're incredibly just not understanding of, like, common sense shit. And that's fine, because it means that you're not a fan. It means that you don't believe me. You probably haven't enjoyed the 11 years of content I put out. You're probably one of the shitheads who's just here to shit on my parades. Like I said last week, the anti-fans. You're still here to watch everything I do, but rather than enjoy it, you're just here to shit all over it.
Oh, I gotta take
No, fuck you. Because how the hell are you going to sit there and say, oh, if you're here, right, and if you like me, and if you enjoy the content, you have to take everything that I say as the gospel, and that's it. Nothing else. There have been people who've been watching me from the jump who call me out on mistakes. They're supposed to do that. They do it because they don't want me to convey information that's blatantly wrong. Or if maybe I'm just missing some details. One to two, you know what I'm saying? I fuck up. But I appreciate that. But so, if they like your content, then of course they want to see it get better. Or if they like you as a person, they're going to check you because they want you to be a better individual. No one wants the cult-like mentality, which is what he just said right there. If you're a real fan of me, you're not going to question me on nothing. You're just going to go with it. And if you do question me, you're not a real fan. You're just someone to hang around. You're an anti-fan because you're not under the pignosis. That's fucking insane. There is something wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. Is autism contagious? Just out of curiosity? I'm not even trying to be a dick now. That's crazy that he would think that. And yet he's mad because he has all this negative attention against him. Or that's on him, I should say. He gets mad that new people come around and they hear this silly shit and they're like, oh wow, he really is nuts. Because he is fucking nuts. He's insane. If you can really go through life and believe that, which just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that he doesn't value any of those people. Those people are nothing more than slaves. They're nothing more than serfs. They're only there to serve a purpose, and once the purpose is settled, get the fuck up out the way and let me get some new victims in here. That's all that is. That's all he ever was. That's all he ever will be.
it. Salud.
You're here to try to ruin it, to try to make everyone else around here feel terrible, and you can't get away. You're so mentally infatuated with me because you're fucked in your head and you need to have fucking brain surgery to fix it, that you won't leave me alone, right? Instead of saying, I don't like Phil, I don't trust him, I think he's a dishonest person because he lied about his wedding to protect his family, so how can I possibly believe him about anything else, right? You're an idiot. It's that simple. You don't see the difference.
Ugh. All I can really taste is salt.
Between protecting my family or telling you guys that...
Protecting your family from what? You still haven't told us what you're exactly protecting them from, nor do you have any proof of any prior attempts on them. So what are you protecting them from? And who? And he can't answer that. That's the problem. So all you're hearing is mass hysteria right here. That's all this is. This is mass hysteria. What is that? What is it that they say that people do when they're afraid, or when they're in a really bad situation, or when they're a panic type situation? Oh, because they say that they say countries do this shit. Keep everybody scared and they'll consume. This is the exact same thing, but almost in the reverse. Keep everybody scared, make everybody believe that everybody's out to get Phil, and by proxy, if you support Phil, they're out to get you. They're out to get you too. And the only salvation you can ever have is to give Phil money. It's literally just as I've been saying: the gout, the doubt, and the snout. I keep all of you in fear. I keep all of you divided from the truth, and all you guys give me money. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. If he stopped lying, this wouldn't be a thing. Well, I mean, people are always going to shit on him for being just a shitty person. But this is the reason why people are at his neck. And to be honest with you, this isn't even focused. This isn't even solely focused on the detractors or the critics or any of that. That's focused on his own fan base. This is his own fan base basically saying, this is roll call. And he's telling all of them to line the fuck up. And they better all tote the line. Because if not, then he's going to go ahead, then the repercussions are going to come out of it. That's what this is. So now who's crazy when you think about it like that?
Not with me and why I need some financial assistance. Completely different things. If you really think that I'm some kind of a scam artist who has like all this money hidden away in banks in the Cayman Islands, and I have a yacht that I go out on my days off with Kat, and we went to Japan for her birthday, and you know, we have 3
I mean,
cars
you can barely drive a car, so I doubt that you could sail a yacht.
Here, you know, you guys are fucking morons, but you can believe whatever you want.
That's it. It just tastes like I'm biting a gelatinous chunk of rubbery salt. That's exactly what it tastes like.
But the bottom line is I don't care what you believe because you weren't going to support me anyway. You weren't going to be the supportive people. You're the toxic shit that follows me around in life, that fucks with my life, and I don't give a fuck about you. So, to Jake the Snake, fuck you.
Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic.
There you go. Because if you...
I told you. If you are not lined up and if you don't tote the line, you have no value whatsoever. If he can't use you, he has no value and he has no use for you. If you don't sit there and take the psychosis at face value and you try to question it, you'll be expelled. It's not about being honest. It's about doing what he wants when he wants it. And that's all he's ever wanted from people.
Even believe any of that crazy conspiracy theory shit, you're a fucking idiot. You're not my viewer base who I want to put out positive content for. You're an asshole. And you're only here to make my life miserable. So, fuck off. Okay.
The truth of the matter is, I'm actually pretty hard to offend. I have incredibly thick skin. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit.
Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. That was just the first video of the broadcast, and we're already X amount of time in. Nah, we're gonna finish. I got an appetite for destruction, so I scraped my plate. Alright, guys. That was the first video of the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you guys literally in just a second.
Go on, just go.
This is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
today. Oh, by the way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the second video of our broadcast. Silly shit, man. Goddamn. Snort Burnell, DSP. My content is for adults, and sorry. I don't believe he said the shit. I don't believe he said the shit in that last video. I really don't. All right. My content is for adults. Only money matters, not the viewers. Not worth hearing, and it's not worth hearing their opinions. Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. Fuck.
Yeah, someone just said no tips goal. You're right. I screwed it up. I gotta have this up here. Tips goal.
And then Wednesday night, we'll probably do my weekly session of Black Ops 4 Blackout Battle Royal. The final countdown for that game, guys. I'm only going to be playing that a few more times before the release of Modern Warfare. So the final chance to really get any, meaningful gameplay in of Black Ops 4 Blackout, that'll be Wednesday. Thursday, I'm off this week. Okay?
Let me cut in real fast. He's stupid for doing that. One, he's not going to, as it pertains to Battle Royal and chill streams, he needs Blackout. He needs Blackout. He needs Minecraft. Dragon Quest Builders should be thrown in there somewhere in the mix. Get MLB out of there. Get Madden out of there. That should be his starting lineup for the most part. At least the big three should be Dragon Quest Builders, Minecraft, and Blackout. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout. Period. That's where the money's going to come in. He thinks that he's going to be able to. He thinks he's going to be able to replace Blackout with Modern Warfare, and he's going to find out very, very quickly that that's not going to be the case. Now, I think it should also be pointed out that there has been talks on his end about going back to what was that called? Is it damn it, the one that Dr. Disrespect likes playing a lot. Battlegrounds? Yeah, it's Battlegrounds. He's talking about wanting to go back to do that. And even still, I don't think it's still going to be nearly as successful as it was with Blackout, because I think Blackout was slow enough that it still gave him a little bit more flexibility than Battlegrounds will. But that's neither here nor there. But it's just a mistake him dropping Blackout. That's just my opinion. But I think it's a mistake him doing that for the new Modern Warfare. Especially since the multiplayer, they're going to eat his ass in that shit. Pause. They're going to get him. They're going to eat him. It's going to be pig butt all day out there. And he's not going to be able to do nothing about it. He's not going to have these little bathrooms he can chill in for like 5 minutes and shit and try to wait shit out. It's not going to work that way. His gun skill isn't good enough. His reactions and reflexes aren't good enough. He's not going to be able to compete. He's not. You know what I mean? He's not. I am worried for Wings of Redemption, let alone what my expectations for Phil's going to be. So we'll wait and see, but I think he's making a big mistake with that.
Thursday's my day off this week from streaming, and then I'll be back on Friday. And you might say, well, on Friday is Phil playing Borderlands 3? I have no idea. That really honestly depends on how things go this week with my streams, in regards to, how much I raise on the streams, or if someone donates credits for PlayStation Network. Because if someone donates enough credit on PlayStation Network to get Borderlands 3, then I'll get it, and we'll start playing it together on Friday. But right now, I'm so financially strapped. I'm still in the red when it comes to my bank account. So when I have no money in the bank, I can't buy games. That's just the bottom line. So the good news is, because we got Gears going right now, I'm still continuing on with GTA and Control, and we got all these chill stream games to do. I've got stuff to do. It's not like, oh, Phil has nothing to do. And the other cool thing is, they just released a bunch of SNES games for the Switch. So if we get to a point where I finish absolutely everything, maybe I could check out a
Now, this is the second time that you've heard that in this video, or this broadcast, I should say, that he's trying to plug the SNES re-releases. It's the second time he's tried to plug it, and no one's biting at it just yet. Now, keep in mind, the Genesis Mini is still out there in play too. So I want you guys to just keep that in mind. Just make a small mental notation. You don't have to make one. I'll do that for you. But make a small mental notation about that moving forward in the upcoming weeks.
SNES games on the Switch or something like that, just, to kill some time until I can actually get back to the new releases. But, I would love to tell you guys 100%, oh yeah, we're going to do Borderlands. This is great. But sadly, no. I can't, I can't even promise you that. I'm hoping that maybe someone will give some PlayStation Network credits on my Amazon wish list. If not, We have to see how things go this week, but I certainly can't be buying new games when I have no money in the bank and I need to backfill money that's already been overdrawn. So
don't have money to do it. I don't have money to do it.
I really don't think I just think he doesn't want to play Borderlands. I don't think he wants to play it now. I think that's why he's kind of banking on the Nintendo on the NES re-releases. And as it pertains to him waiting for new releases, the new releases haven't been good to him this year. To be honest, they're not helping him really. So he has no choice but to go backwards if he can't go forward. He has to kind of go back now and play retro games, and that's why he keeps, in my opinion, that's the reason why he keeps plugging it. That's the reason why he's had that hair up his ass about that whole Genesis Mini. He really needs it because he's starting to get really dependent on it because he knows the new releases aren't doing well, and he needs something else to kind of carry the day. And people have been telling him to play retro games forever, and he won't do it, despite the fact that some of the very games that he could play for the Genesis, he can find on, because I've already done a broadcast on that, he can actually get that on PSN Network. He might even be able to get it on Xbox Network too, but he won't do that. He just wants the Mini because he likes the collectible aspect of it, i.e., he's a hoarder. Not to say that everybody who likes collectibles are hoarders. I'm saying that Phil is a hoarder.
Don't have money to do it. I 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 don't have money to pay my fucking taxes.
And you might say, well, out of all those ways to contribute, what's the best way to help Phil? And a very honest answer for all of you is tipping me.
This disgusting stuff. It needs to end, okay?
Because right now, as I've told you guys, my bank account's in the red. I'm not going to get paid by Twitch until the 15th at the earliest, so we're talking at least another week before I see a dollar come in for anything that I did last month. And because of that, I'm in trouble because I know for a fact there's like 3 or 4 bills coming up that I need to pay, and I can't do that if I have no money. Alright, so that being said, if you tip me today, I get those funds immediately. Those are funds that go right to my bank account that I could pay a bill with, okay? So if you're looking to help out the absolute most and you have the ability to tip me today, please tip me.
He's toxic. Every fucking day he's toxic. Every day he's here, he's toxic. As you can see, guys, we have a tips goal that I have instituted on the stream stats. That is a rough estimate that if I raise that during the stream, that's going to help out tremendously with the situation I have. So that's the goal that I'm trying to push for every single day, for the next week or so until I get paid by Twitch. So please consider tipping today. If at all you can, that's how you can help the most. Wow. Disgusting beggar.
So this is funny because someone named Jolly Cat subscribed to the channel and then immediately...
He should just go ahead and have that $100 tips goal just from now on. It should just be the thing. You know what I mean? He's gonna... This whole illusion of having it as a crutch that leads him from paycheck to paycheck, he might as well just have it up there permanently. It'd be easier. But that's just my opinion, of course.
Started saying stupid shit. Like, could you show us proof of all your bills? No, stupid.
My mouth is full of salt.
That's called personal information that if I were to show it, people would immediately start fucking with me, having all the personal information of places I owe money to, addresses of places. I mean, are you stupid? And that's why that person got banned, because they're a moron, and they were trying to insult me by saying stupid shit like that in the stream chat. So, grow up, dummy.
Alright. There's a nice lean-in manual ban.
Now, Timo Slice just cheered something. I don't know if this is true. I haven't heard anything about it, and YouTube didn't say.
And see, that's the reason why this financial scheme that he's doing, it's not going to last. It's not going to last at all. Because the more people poke holes through it, the more frustrated he's going to get. The more frustrated he's going to get, the more he's going to have to eventually tell to kind of alleviate the pressure. Because that's the only way he can get out of it. If he breaks all radio silence, he's screwed. And he knows it. So, let's just see how that all plays out in the hardcore begging season.
Anything about it to me anyway, but I'll read what it says. Let's see what he says. He says, it's coming out. Starting in January, YouTube will no longer put ads on videos or promoting videos that are geared towards kids 15 or younger. A lot of people that make a living on YouTube, like vloggers, are worried that they will not survive. Do you feel it's right for YouTube to decide what videos are met for? And is it possible you think it might affect you? Are met for? I don't even know what that means. Are met for. Maybe he meant to say are meant for. Is it fair for YouTube to say what videos are meant for? Okay. I think that's what he means to say. Alright. Now this is a very interesting thing. And if this is true, which I think this is just a rumor, I haven't heard anything stating this at all. Here's why I say this is an interesting thing. Because YouTube. All right.
Well, we know those pre-streams are definitely going to get demonetized, and I assume most of those gameplays are going to get demonetized too. So it is what it is. And I had said that in a previous report. He's barely scraping the line on being advertiser friendly. He's certainly not family friendly, but he's barely scraping the line for being advertiser friendly. And he hides behind the, oh, I'm a gamer and I play games, and that automatically should put me in position for the best ads. And it don't work that way anymore. It don't work that way at all.
Out in the hot water, and the reason they really lost most of their advertisers is because they were running advertisements, all right, on videos that were inappropriate for advertisements. So, example, a video that's blatantly racist, someone insulting another race, would get an advertisement on it from Starbucks. A video from a terrorist saying kill all Americans would get an advertisement from Walmart on it, okay? And so, you know, obviously the advertisers started seeing this and were like, this is insanity, we don't want this, and a lot of them just cut the ties with YouTube and never came back, all right? Now, over the years, what's happened on YouTube is that YouTube's gotten hot water because they allow videos from people like, let's be very honest here, Logan Paul, who puts out a video of going to Japan, slapping, you know, squid on taxi cabs, insulting the general populace, going into the suicide forest and showing hanging bodies, and his videos primarily are watched by children. You know, that's his audience is children.
Wait a minute.
You mean like when you were doing like fan request ridicules, when you were doing your racist compilations, when you were doing all that stuff? And there was ads slapped on them too? So just because you didn't do all of that in actual IRL, you know what I'm saying, your content should be able to slide. But obviously that shit is absolutely egregious. And don't be wrong, it is. But now I think about it, in some of those videos, if they're still available, which I'm sure a few of them are, they probably still have ads on them. So Phil is still, in some way, shape, or form, still part of the problem. Just throwing it out there.
Aren't you the guy that masturbated in front of children? I'm the guy watching his Twitch. It's the guy. I'm watching his stream. I acted up to try to bring in little kids to watch my shit so I can be rich. Okay? Hello, my children. It's kids. YouTube's main audience is toxic kids who like drama. So that's what I'd be like, yeah, you're right. My audience, I realize that my target demographic more than likely is kids. I'm just tired of it. I can't babysit fucking kids, you know? My content is not catered towards kids. It never has been, and it never will be. Kids are idiots. Kids are complete idiots.
And it's sad that this is what's on YouTube now. This is the majority of people who are popular on YouTube are putting out garbage. You know, it's downright, you could be downright be viewed as immoral and disgusting. With the shit that people are doing to get views and make a living on YouTube. Alright? Now, when that stuff happened, again, it was backlash.
You mean like doing shower videos? That was pretty egregious too. What they would do for views. And to get attention. So they can make money on YouTube.
Like, we don't want our shit on those videos. And so what YouTube did is they put out, supposedly, oh, when you're an advertiser now, if you want to advertise on YouTube, we give you a bunch of options of the kind of content you want to advertise on. So do you want to advertise on content that's meant for adults? Do you want to advertise on content that's meant for kids? Do you want to advertise on this or that? And so there's all these check boxes that advertisers now select of where they want their ads to show. The problem is, once again, YouTube's automated. So you're right. Who determines what video was intended for a younger audience, right? Like, how do you determine, oh, this video that's a prank video that shows some guy pranking people is meant for kids or is it meant for adults? Who's it meant for, right? Now, you could argue that if there's someone out there who does adult-oriented content, constant swearing, constant, you know, irreverence and topics about adult topics, politics, or sex, or stuff like that, that's not for kids, right? So you could argue that.
That's like me, right? That's like me. Toxic-ass fucking content.
But who's the determiner to say what video is for what audience? I think Timbo makes a good point here, that who's going to do that, right? I mean, I think we can all agree certain content creators like Markiplier or PewDiePie, their stuff is mostly for kids. The kind of content they're putting out is for kids. And that's fine if you understand that, but now someone has to make that determining factor that that's the content they're putting out there, right? Me, I've always said my content's not for kids. My content is for young adults and adults, all right, who are into gaming, who want to hear a matter-of-fact kind of deal when it comes to gaming. You want to come and watch someone's honest reactions to a game, and have fun in the meanwhile. You know, when you come and you watch a stream of mine or you watch a gameplay video of mine, you're gonna get honesty.
Yeah, that's yet again, like I said, half the fan base are kids, and then everybody else are just... Anyway. Anyway. That might also explain why he has the lack of viewership, too. Because, like I said, just because he's a gaming channel doesn't mean he's being marketed off or he's being recommended to children. You know what I mean? I doubt Phil is even relevant in the search engine for that. Which is why YouTube's supposed to be dead in the water, which means why would it matter if he's a children's entertainer or not, as it pertains to YouTube, because that's non-existent. YouTube is merely an archive for his streams. He gave up YouTube for streaming. He could have done both, but he gave up YouTube for streaming. So theoretically, why are we talking about shit like this that really doesn't affect him? Just throwing it out there.
You're not going to get me lying about the game because I'm getting paid to say positive things about it. You're not going to get me kissing a game's butt. I'm going to be very fair and honest when it comes to a game. And even though in the spur of the moment I might rage, by the time that I'm done with the game, I will give you an honest and fair, level-headed opinion on that game, rather than just letting this one moment that pissed me off make me think the game sucks. On the flip side of that, I don't kiss games' butts either, you know? So, in reality, alright? In reality, I don't know how YouTube would determine, you know, what video is for who. Like, PewDiePie or Markiplier are obviously videos that are they're supposed to be PG rated, even though they're not all the time, but they're meant for kids, right? My content was never meant for kids. So how do you determine the difference between a gameplay video from one content creator or another? I have no idea. Now, here's the other thing, Timbo, because Timbo's basically saying, well, YouTube is saying that, they're not going to advertise on videos meant for kids anymore, okay? First of all, I've been saying this all along, that people who have made fortunes on YouTube are because kids watch their videos and the ads are not targeted properly. I mean, let's face it.
You mean like him? Because he made a shitload of money, too, from a bunch of shit little kids, his words, not mine, that he sat there and made a shitload of money off of. And made fun of a lot of those kids, too. And used a lot of those kids who eventually grew up for other means. I mean, yet again, he's part of the problem. But it's everybody else's fault, though, right? Because he never made it. He never made it to the golden gates of YouTube, right? Of YouTube popularity, right? He never had that opportunity. He was held down by everybody, apparently. And he never made it there. So he's still the little guy. He's still the ultimate underdog who lost the job that he had that for 5 years because he wasn't very good at it. And he only had it because of daddy anyway. Right? To only live off of mommy and daddy while he was making 6 figures a year. Now all that's gone. Well, he still makes 6 figures a year. He just doesn't make high 6 figures anymore. Now all of a sudden he's still leeching off mommy and daddy and the fan base, at least what's left of them. And can't really draw a large amount of children to watch his videos because his videos aren't targeted towards them, and 2, he's not entertaining. And hence the reason why his videos keep getting demonetized. Not all of them, but a good portion of them. He keeps bitching about it. You can find it on Twitter. I mean, once you start getting demonetized as frequently as Phil is starting to, not every day, but frequent enough, it makes you wonder how long is he going to continue to be advertiser friendly. He's certainly not he's obviously not family advertiser friendly, but how long will he continue to go on being advertiser friendly until they completely take him out, until they completely demonetize him? Think about that.
You go watch one of these guys' videos, and you got advertisements for life insurance, buying a new car, you know, and shit that a kid does not care about, yet it's a fucking gameplay video meant for a kid. You see what I mean? So, for years and years and years, those ads have never been targeted properly and have never been effective. They've just literally been wasted money by these companies because they're going to kids who don't fucking...
Well, what do you care? And first off, really, why do you care what ads are targeted to what people and what age demographic? You get paid either which way. 2, if they were targeted properly, you're not going to see any extra money on the back end for that idiot. So yet again, how does that benefit you? That's like, for example, since Phil's supposedly a gamer, yeah? Let's say that a new Tekken game was coming out, and they advertise it on his channel. That doesn't benefit him at all. It doesn't benefit him whatsoever. It's not like Namco's going to break off Phil a piece of the sales from the game. He's not going to get any of that because they couldn't prove, right? They wouldn't be able to prove how much of the ads that are played on his video for their game directly influenced sales. That's business 101. Phil should know this, so who cares? And Phil said that ads were never placed on videos properly, but you said you're not a children's entertainer. You said you never have been. So if ads or if car ads, car insurance, or whatever the case may be, shows up on your videos, well, wouldn't that be targeting people of that age range? Now, think about it, Phil. How do you know that you didn't have the right ads on your videos? Oh, that's right, because you used to watch your own videos. You still do, to make sure that the air quotes, to make sure that the ads are working properly. And the funny thing is, Phil, is you're not a kid, you're an adult. So theoretically, the algorithm is working at least somewhat if you're not seeing kiddie stuff on your videos, because the ad would be theoretically customized towards you. And since you don't watch anybody else, right, the algorithm doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Interesting. Well, that's semantics, though. It's not like, it's not like you couldn't take a few minutes on Google to see how that works. Semantics, right?
Care about the ads, So the advertisement has been incredibly ineffective on YouTube to begin with, at least in my opinion. So what you're saying actually makes sense, Timbo. But the other flip side of this that I don't understand at all is the fact that YouTube already will age restrict certain videos. So for example, if I'm playing a video game and there's a scene in the game that's excessively gory, alright, excessively gory, and I don't mean like fantasy gore, I mean like it's realistic. Like, I'm playing a game where a murder took place, and you see the dead body, and it's really, like, realistic and disgusting. YouTube will sometimes flag that video and say, well, this is now considered age-restricted because it's kind of nasty, and because it's age-restricted, that means that tons of ads will not show on your video. We determined that it's not appropriate for all advertisement audiences unless that particular advertiser has selected in their settings they want to advertise on what's considered adult-rated content, okay? So, that being said,
yet again, that being said, what are you complaining about? If you don't have kids watching your videos, then that's not a problem for you. That's not a problem for you at all. So you're kind of already dismantling your own argument. I'm not a children's entertainer. My content's not made for kids, but now they're age restricting. Now there is a bit of an age restriction on ads, right? To be only targeted towards adults, depending on the game that's being played. Which means he's not going to get any of those kiddie ads anyway. And more importantly, his content isn't going to be viewed by children. Hence the reason why his views are so low. I mean, this is pretty simple. This is pretty simple. Like, he has all of this is added up already. He's just going about it in a very roundabout way. I don't know if he's trying to purposely disorient them or not, but it's kind of all here. He's explaining to you how and why the system's working the way it is. I guess he hasn't figured it out how he's going to make himself the victim out of it yet. And if he is, he's not doing a good job of it.
Determined to only be for adults, it gets age restricted and then ads don't play on it right. So you're telling me we're not going to advertise on videos for kids, but if your video's for adults, we also age restrict it and it's not going to get ads either. So who gets ads? Kids don't get ads and adults don't get ads. So what you're telling me is that YouTube's going to be ad free?
Oh my god!
Eventually it might end up being that way. And since YouTube doesn't really turn a profit, I mean, it kind of is what it is. Like I said, it might eventually be that way. Or they go to like an ad-based system where everything's broken up into tiers, which is kind of how it works now, but the infrastructure will have to be changed. So basically, everybody, and this is just kind of a roundabout way, the way the upper echelon of YouTubers, there's an upper echelon of YouTubers, right? Those who have a lot of subs, who actually bring in a lot of views. Because there's a shitload of channels out here who have over 1 million subs and don't pull shit for views, which is amazing. Anyway, so you have an upper echelon of YouTubers who make ridiculous money because they get the best ads, because obviously they get the most viewership. Period. When you think about games being restricted because of the content that's in them, that was going to happen either which way. Hence the reason why there's a rating system on video games anyway, and hence the reason why certain kids of a certain age group can't buy games, because the games are restricted. YouTube is merely going to try to mirror, or maybe they're going to try to mirror how some of the gaming rated systems are as well, for an advertisement-based type system. It kind of makes sense when you think about it. The problem is that Phil is trying to allude to, but he hasn't gotten into it yet, is how certain content creators are going to get hit. He is going to be one of those people that's going to get hit. He's going to be one of those people because the way his language is going to hurt him. He thinks by nuking his comment section, he can't be harmed, but he himself will screw himself over. You see it in a lot of those chill stream videos when he goes on these massive rants and starts cursing for no goddamn reason and so on and so forth. Like I said, some of those, he might get some ads on him, he might not. There's also, but like any ad, there are quality of ads. You know what I'm saying? Each ad's not going to pay you exactly the same. There's going to be some type of differential between them. That's going to affect him too. At the end of the day, it's very possible that YouTube eventually just loses ads altogether, or they quarantine them to just those people who they know are safe, right? That they know that are safe. As someone who owns a business, right? And you want to advertise, you want to advertise somewhere, you should be able to pick the group of people, right, or the tier of people to have your advertisements on. The days of just going ahead and doing mass advertisements for everybody is over. It's a whole bunch of money that's not necessarily going anywhere. Phil kind of pointed that out earlier. But now, if you can go ahead and pick those group of people who you know are very consistent with their content, and also very consistent with the viewership, then that's where you want all your ads at. And Phil doesn't fall into that group. He's going to get boxed out. He's already boxed out, to be honest with you. That's the reason. That's another reason why his ad revenue is so low, because he's not getting very good ads, or he's not getting great ads, and more importantly, their ad block is a thing. Ad block is a thing. So if I had to guess, I'd say out of his viewership now, which is garbage by the way, I would assume half of those people have ad block. It might even be a little bit more than that. I might even go as far as saying 60% of his regular viewership has ad block off, or as ad block on, I'm sorry. And only the hardcore group doesn't. So he's already screwed. He's already done it. And he's, like I said, the brain's already dead. Or, well, the body's dead. The brain hasn't caught up to it yet.
And how's YouTube gonna make money? This doesn't make any sense. That's what how does this make any sense at all? For me, what I would hope is, because I'm just playing video games in general, and a lot of the games that I play are mature rated, or at least for, teen, that YouTube will realize that the stuff that I put out is not for young kids.
I told you. He's depending, because his vlogs, I assume, don't do very well either. You know what I mean? So he's dependent on gaming as a whole to continue to make ads, to continue to make money. But the problem is that because of his lack of commitment and his lack of and basically just his standard business practices and air quotes over the years, he screwed himself over, and he'll never get out of it at all. When you go ahead and click on his channel and you see 10 Detractor videos before he pops up, and it's been like that for years, he's never going to get from under that. Ever. And now that you don't see recommended channels anymore, unless you put it there yourself, you manually put the channels that you want, he's even more screwed. Because it wasn't until like earlier this year, I think, is when he actually opened up his related channels again. The reason why he did that is because his related channels used to be open, but he used to always get paired up with Detractor channels. Actually, towards the end, before YouTube ended up getting rid of recommended channels, he used to still get recommended with Detractor channels. It just wasn't as much. Now, that's all gone. So he's screwed even more. Yet again, this is someone who's been on YouTube for over a decade and has no idea how the business works. And someone of his size, right, or his channel size, I should say, would have access to this information if he would just look. But he won't. He expects them to just send it to him every month, all, pig-splained out for him so he doesn't have to think. He can just consume. And that's not how life works. And that's why he's failing. And begging is literally his only way out. It's rather amusing, to say the least.
I'll get a decent amount of advertisements that are appropriate to the audience watching the video. If I'm putting out gameplay videos, put out ads on my videos that are appropriate for movies, for television, comic books, video games, collectibles, that kind of shit.
Oh my god, dude, just shut up. Just shut up and stop whining. Ugh.
Is the kind of ads you should see on my videos. You shouldn't go to watch Gears of War 5 campaign and see an advertisement for a fucking person running for Congress, or, you know, you go to watch...
But if you think about what some of the stuff that he speaks on, right, I could kind of see if, like I said, you have to get more into how the algorithm works. But, like, if you look at what he talks about, it kind of makes sense, some of the ads that he gets. If the algorithm works that way. I'm assuming here, by the way. But if you think about what he says, what he complains about, seeing stuff about Congress, seeing stuff about the government, seeing stuff about insurance, it kind of makes sense based on what he talks about. Because there's not a whole lot of movie talk over there. There's not a lot of comic book talk over there. There's a lot of apparently first world problems over there. Not a lot of entertainment, if you will. So think about that, Phil supporter. The next time you go to a YouTube video, you don't see any of the things that he wants to see on his videos. Think about that.
My Minecraft video from tonight's stream, and you get an advertisement for, you know, the pet wedge, a fucking sponge that wipes up pet hair. You know, like, and that's the problem with YouTube.
How's that a problem when you do have a cat who does sometimes show up on stream? It sounds to me like the algorithm does work, or at least it works to some degree. At least for him, it does, and he just don't like it. He just don't like it because he's one of these brain dead idiots who feels like he should be able to pick the ads that he wants. And you can't do that. Yet again, another example of an unrealistic motherfucker trying to ice skate uphill.
Targeted properly at all. It's all automated, and their algorithms are terrible. So 9 times out of 10, the ad you see on YouTube isn't appropriate to anything you would care about anyway. And that's the problem. So there you go. I don't know. If what Timbo is saying has even a nugget of truth in it, I don't know how YouTube is going to figure this out.
Smash me, tips me $1. He says, here's some advice. Stop talking. Get on with the fucking game.
I don't. Because if you age restrict your videos, you don't get ads on them. So no one's going to age restrict their videos, but now you're saying if your videos are determined to be for kids, they don't get ads on them. So then what the hell, what gets ads? And you know what's going to happen. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
People do age restrict their videos, or they age restrict some of them. And the reason why you do that is because if you don't, then YouTube takes the ad. YouTube's will take the video. Yeah. Sorry, let's do this again. let's bring that back. People do age restrict some of their videos. The reason why that is because if you don't, then YouTube will either age restrict it for you, or they'll consider it as a community guideline and take it down. And you might even catch a strike. It's not worth the risk. And I thought if your video's age restricted, isn't it really just you get limited ads more than just no ads? Because I think people forget, or at least Phil do. He forgets that that's how that works. Also, there's either you get ads, you get no ads, or you get limited ads. Like if you're just talking about monetization in general. I think that's still a thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't monetize my stuff, so.
Everyone is going to change their content to be considered ad-friendly. Everyone's going to figure out, oh, what's that sweet spot of edginess so that it's considered for an older audience, not for kids, but not so far that it's considered age-restricted content. So everyone's going to try to change their content up so they can still get ads on YouTube, okay? For me...
People have already done that. And that whole edgy thing that you keep talking about, people abandon that. Either you have to kind of go all in with that, or you don't. If you're going to go kid-friendly, then you go kid-friendly and you reap the rewards of it. That's just kind of how that works. That's why people have multiple channels where they have their kid-friendly stuff on one channel, and then they have more adult-oriented stuff on another channel. Theoretically, you were already ahead of the curve when it comes to that. You just abandoned it because you weren't making enough money, or you felt like it wasn't making you enough money. I apologize. Yeah, don't do that. Don't even try to play that mark out. That's not gonna work.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put out the fucking archives like I do every day anyway. It's going to be exactly the same as always. And, you know, it is what it is. Already, like I told you guys, I've seen my ad revenue on YouTube go abysmally low this year, the lowest in history. And again, nothing that I can control when I'm still putting out the videos, you know, and you guys are still watching them. There's nothing I can do about it. So,
even despite the fact that the viewership isn't there, and he doesn't want to admit it because then he'd have to admit that he's failing and he's losing interest. Just like how he's losing viewership on Twitch and doesn't want to admit it because he'd have to admit that he failed. I've always said Twitch is merely just mirroring YouTube. He's going to crash and burn hard. And yeah, he might be able to keep hobbling along on that pig leg, but it isn't going to last forever. And he realized that. That's why he needs crowdfunding. Crowdfunding right there ties into all of that. YouTube's failing. Twitch is failing. If he doesn't have crowdfunding, he doesn't have anything. Let him disprove that if I'm wrong. And he can't, because he knows that what I'm saying is true. He knows what people in general in the Detractor community have said is true. And there's no walking that off. There's no getting away with it. Because he sits there and tells you, oh, my monthly viewership hasn't dropped. The fuck it hasn't. He's like somewhere between barely 1 million and like 800,000 views a month. That's garbage for a channel of his size compared to what he came from. And if you look at his analytics for Twitch, I don't have all the details on that. It's been a while since I've looked. But if you look at that, his viewers by hour is dropping too. Unless it's drama. Because drama's always been a big thing for Phil. Which is funny how he complains about drama channels when he started off being a negative piece of shit and bitching about gaming drama. Imagine that. DSP News.
Trump dumps more, it drops more. I guess it drops more. Alright? And if I have to take drastic measures to try to make ends meet because I have another dip in income, I guess I have to take drastic measures or whatever. You know, what can I do? Right? My credit's already ruined, so it doesn't even fucking matter in that regard. So, I guess we'll see what happens.
We're afraid that in the back of our heads are just going to have taxes.
Alright, continuing on. The Last Rambo did a 300-bit cheer, and thank you for using the Subway cheer emote when you did. He said, just a little clarification. It did seem that you mentioned that your views on YouTube and Twitch are steady. I recently checked and saw they're low. It seems worrying.
That's not true.
Woo! I told y'all. I'm sorry about that. For all of you guys who are wearing headphones, my apologies. But I told y'all. Don't let anybody ever doubt me when I'm out here cooking this bacon. Okay? Don't ever doubt it. Well, you can doubt it. You need to doubt it. So you doubt it, right? And then you see the proof, and then you delete your comment. Matter of fact, well, first you let me read your comment, then you delete your comment. Don't ever doubt it, though. I got this bacon thing on lock. Well, I got the bacon cooking on lock, I should say. I'll say I'm about to start curating bacon in a minute. Don't be surprised if I come out with my own bacon brand eventually. Don't get it twisted. We coming.
That's not true at all. Fuck you. You're a liar.
If you look at YouTube, alright, the views fluctuate. During a time when there's new releases, the views go a little bit up. During a time when it's dead, the views go down. Now, in general, you're always going to see a slight decline on YouTube. Want to know why? Because I'm not focusing on it. I'm not putting out original content for it. It's just an archive. And what you'll actually notice is that more people are coming to the streams when they can, because there's more engagement, there's more interactivity. They're at the streams because of that, rather than watching on YouTube. Alright? So, in general, YouTube isn't declining at any exponential rate. It's fine. It's an archive of the stuff that I do here. The streams
if it's fine, then why do you have a dip in ad revenue that you just finished coming off of that complaint, off that rant? But everything's fine, though. So then everything you said beforehand has just been negated, right? It's not that big of a deal that you don't get the best ads and all that, and the algorithm don't work, none of that bullshit, right? That was all smoke and mirrors, right? That was all just pig shit that you just flung out at the wall to see what would stick. Now none of that means anything anymore, because now you are being approached, you're being encroached on, if you will, that you actually have low viewership. Now all of a sudden, oh, we got to clean all that up that I said before. No, that's not true. My viewership's great. It's just fine. It's just fine, right? And everybody's coming to the streams, despite the fact that your stream attendance is still low. Okay. Let's see how he squirms his way out of this.
Great. Alright, the streams are doing great.
That's hilarious.
And you might say, oh, well, stream number. Dude, you're talking about stream viewer numbers? That, first of all, that's a number that doesn't fucking matter whatsoever. It just doesn't. It's a frivolous number that has no purpose. And
stream numbers don't matter, and it's a frivolous number, and it don't mean shit. Coming from the same idiot that when he came back to Twitch, he wouldn't actually start his Twitch streams. Like, we would still be in pre-stream mode until he hit 400 viewers. He can't even get that now. We're talking about at a time when he used to be able to stream on Twitch. When he used to be able to stream on Twitch, I apologize, where he could get 3,000 viewers like that. Now, he'd be lucky if he can get over 400 or 500. He's lucky to break 700 with a new release. We're talking about the same idiot, ladies and gentlemen, that back on YouTube, when he did a new release, he used to be able to pull 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 for the first couple of views on a playthrough, if not higher. He can't even break 10 now. Or he's barely breaking 10, I should say. He's barely breaking 10. You telling me that's not a drop in viewership? On all platforms? Okay. Alright, no problem. I mean, alright. Fair enough.
And if you actually look at the amount of people who come and are engaged in my streams, it's at an all-time high. What do I mean? I mean the people who are chatting, the people who have positive interactivity, the people who are contributing, the people that are here to have a good time and matter are at an all-time high. That's the difference here, is, oh, well, Phil's playing an RPG and he's only getting 200 viewers tonight. But out of the people who are here to watch the RPG, everyone's having fun, everyone's talking, they're engaged, it's a healthy community, and people are contributing during the stream so Phil could continue to do this. So what's the problem? I don't care if
Shut the fuck up. First off, I've seen your Minecraft streams, and yes, does he have a couple hundred people on? Sure. There's not a couple hundred people talking in chat. And they're damn sure ain't a couple hundred people contributing positively to the stream and supporting him positively. So, it's really only down to like 10, 15 people, maybe 20 max out of 200. So let's say 20. We'll say 20. So 20% of the viewership is basically contributing positively, meaning financially, while everybody else is just deaf mutes. Okay. Okay. It's an interesting way of looking at it, but sure. Nope. Alright. Fair enough.
1,000 people watching me play Judgment, if they're all sitting here and with their thumbs up their butts, they're not talking, they're not interacting, or even worse, a stream where you get high attendance, but everyone's just complaining constantly and says that they don't like the stream. Who cares?
Give me your money. Then that's all I care about.
Why would I care that I have 1,000 viewers if those viewers are all being negative, right? And that's the truth about it, is that a lot of
And yet again, as Snort Burnell said, that's one of the reasons why he gets so scared when he gets a large influx of people who come into his streams. He gets really, really panicky and really, really nervous. And the last couple of times that he got some big raids, right? I remember Bad Bunny was one of them. He almost immediately put the chat in the sub-only mode and immediately cut all those people out. That right there gives you an idea of what he's talking about, or what's being spoken about here right now. He talks about, oh, I just need some organic growth. I need this, I need that. I just need some real organic growth and everything's going to be good. I've already talked about this before. What he means by organic growth is more people from his YouTube audience to come over to Twitch. Not getting new people from Twitch to pay more attention to him on Twitch. He doesn't want that because he's scared. He doesn't know if they're detractors. He doesn't know if there are other people that are going to embarrass him. The unknown scares him so much on a platform where he makes pretty much his whole living on that he's too scared to embrace anybody new that comes in. That's insane. It would give one the perception that maybe he shouldn't be online if you're going to live like this. Just my opinion, of course.
Times, if I'm doing a game that's white hot popular, or if I'm doing a game that brings a lot of rage, like for example, if I'm playing Dark Souls, or if I play Street Fighter, if I'm doing stuff like that, right, the viewership will be up, but the actual positivity of the stream, the actual engagement of the stream, the things that matter, ends up being down. And I don't care about that. The truth of the matter is, a number of viewers doesn't make a difference.
And that's the reason why he doesn't get pushed on Twitch, because the viewership ain't there. He only cares about the little bit of money that he can scrounge up. It's almost like, ladies and gentlemen, that he can't equate that the more people you have and the more people who are having a good time means the more money that comes in. For some reason, that don't compute. That don't make sense. That don't come together. That shit ain't adding up, apparently. I don't get it. He don't get it. Apparently nobody gets it. So he would rather have this small group and or small sect or sect, a small little cult, right, of people who give him large amounts of money instead of instead of trying to expand and build an actual following and building an actual community. He would rather have this little village, right? Little village. It's literally nothing. Little village. Instead of actually trying to build an actual community. You know what I mean? And try to expand off into Metropolis and so on and so forth. Everything else, everything that every other streamer wants and strives for, Phil Burnell doesn't want that. It's almost like he's scared on the very platform that he's on. It's almost like he doesn't really want to build a viewership of people who don't already know who he is and who can already see past what he calls the bullshit and negativity and will see him for what he wants them to see. But the thing is, if you're not willing to give the viewership a chance, the people who are new, who aren't familiar with you, if you're not willing to give that group of people this newfound viewership a chance, then how are they going to ever be able to embrace you? I know, it's Detractor logic. It is what it is. DSP News.
At all. It's how happy are the viewers that are here, and because they're happy, are they engaging, are they interacting, and are they contributing?
This kind of shit needs to come out. This kind of shit needs to be exposed for what it is. It's greed. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control.
And the answer is, a lot of the times with the streams that have bigger views, that doesn't happen. Alright? So I don't care about overall views. Yeah, if you want to talk about real talk, years and years ago when I was super popular on YouTube, I also got more views on Twitch. Big fucking deal. Who cares? Back then, I made nothing on Twitch. I didn't have people who were positive. It was all negative jerks, insulting and doing stupid shit.
Whoa. You're being an asshole now. He had a sub button, so he was making money on YouTube. Or on Twitch, sorry. He had a sub button. He just wasn't... It's just cheers, subs, or sorry, cheers, bits, and tips weren't a thing yet. At least I don't think tips were. Those things weren't a thing yet, but he still had a sub button. And he was still making money off that. And trust me, talk to Dellard. I'm someone who wishes he could get his sub button back. He's making plenty of money. I apologize. Doing what he's doing, but his sub button is where the real money's at. That's the real gold mine. But you're gonna say that all those people who supported you for all those years on Twitch, the first time before you ran off like a little bitch over some bit rate, you're gonna say they're all jerks and they demanded too much shit from you, which is the same shit that he said back then. He did call them jerks and say that they demanded too much from him and they should be able just to sit there and chill and shut the fuck up. It's funny that he did say that, actually. But they were the problem back then. And isn't this the same idiot who says, oh, yeah, there are other gamers on YouTube that make a lot of views and this, that, and the third, but my combined views over all my years still beat them. But now he's telling you that views don't mean shit. And it doesn't mean anything at all. No biggie. Is it because you already got paid for all those views? Maybe because at that time when someone was saying that you're not nearly as popular as you were and you never will be, and maybe you were never really that popular in the first place, you had to throw up all of your overall views over your many years of just garbage regurgitated content to try to prove that you had relevancy? I don't know.
Shit. And none of it mattered. Now, I have a fun stream every day where I interact, we have a good time, and you guys are incredibly supportive. It's a very different situation. It really is. It's like night and day. So why would I worry when things are actually getting better? They are. Things on Twitch are getting better. It's that the things on YouTube are falling apart because YouTube, as I said, as a business is falling fucking apart. So you can't really worry about that shit, you know? You just gotta worry about being positive on the streams, putting out fun content, and hoping that, you know, things are going to continue to be good on Twitch.
But didn't he just say that YouTube is just fine, though? He just said just a minute ago that YouTube's just fine. Now, all of a sudden, everything's falling apart again, though. You can't stick to a narrative. You really can't.
Have been. You know, I cannot say a negative thing about Twitch. My experience on Twitch has been great. It's only getting better, in my opinion. Rainbow Slice Charity says, it's not a rumor, by the way. Vloggers I follow on YouTube are making videos about it. That's great. Where did they get their information from? And did they actually cite their sources? Or are they just creating drama with rumor videos? Which is what vloggers tend to do on YouTube to get clickbait views. King forever.
Wait a second. How many sources have you cited in anything that you talk about outside of Twitter? And even then, you don't cite your sources. I think you just take what you see and then you interpret it any way you can to fit your narrative. And that can be proven, actually. So now we want to cite sources. And what do you care? You don't vlog anyway. Oh, but you do realize that it's going to affect you, huh? You're starting to come to realize that, you know what? Oh, those pre-streams that don't make me any money anyway, oh, they're definitely not going to give me anything now because those are basically just glorified vlogs. And if you really looked at his gaming content, they're nothing more than glorified vlogs too, to be honest, with just a snidbit of gameplay. Hence the reason why he won't take the face cam away. Huh. That's funny. It was easy to chop that up. I'm thinking sweet and sour pork chops then. That could be good. That could be good.
Timmy, $5. His news came out yesterday. One of the top streamers on Twitch was offered $140,000 just to play Madden for one stream. Is that insane or what? No. No, because it's crazy. What's really insane is that these streamers apparently have such influence. Like, just because a known streamer plays a game, that they would actually...
A known streamer who brings in viewership. And when you look at his merchandise sales and stuff like that, which is what companies look at as one of the aspects, he can move product.
Enough influence to that game or enough exposure to that game that the game maker themselves feels that $140,000 advertisement budget is warranted, right?
I mean, I'll be honest.
I actually know about what he's talking about. So, our boy Tfue. You guys know who Tfue is? He's really very well known Fortnite player. Some people argue that he's actually better than Ninja. Some people say they're equal. Some people say he is eventually going to overtake Ninja. He's a talented guy. He's also currently trying to get himself from under FaZe so he can allegedly start his own gaming. Some people saying he's wanting to start his own gaming team. Some people thought he was going to actually join 100 Thieves. It's kind of hard to say what his plans are, but the point is he's trying to get himself out of that contract. Supposedly FaZe is going to be suing him if not they've already sued him. Who's to say? But anyway, Tfue's a very interesting and very talented individual. Okay. Our boy Tfue was offered by a game publisher to play their game, play Madden, I'm pretty sure. And they offered him $140,000 to play it for just one stream. $140,000 would be sent right to his account. All he has to do is play it on one stream. Now, Tfue also had a 3-on-3 tournament for Fortnite coming up. And he was in there with two other people who were going to be on his team. And so he said he basically turned down the offer so he could play on this 3-on-3 Fortnite tournament. Now let me give you some specifics of this tournament. I think the top prize was going to be maybe 60,000, or it might have been 40. It was like 40,000, I think. Second place would get 20, and then I guess third place gets 10. And keep in mind, that's split amongst 3 people. Now, this is where the controversy comes into play. Tfue says that he turned it down because he wanted to compete in this tournament, and because of how the day of the Madden stream that they were going to ask him to promote on, and when the Fortnite tournament was going to happen, he wasn't going to have a whole lot of time. So he gave up on the $140,000 to chase after this allegedly $40,000 to $60,000 prize money, which they weren't even guaranteed to get for first place. He's good. He may even be great, but there's no guarantee he was going to get it. Tfue's 2 teammates, when they were offered, they weren't offered the $140,000. Let me make that very, very fucking clear. They weren't offered that, but they were offered something by Madden, by EA to play their game. They were like, "Fuck the 3-on-3, we're going to do that." So that's what they did. So instead of scrimming, which is why Tfue ended up dropping the $140,000 in the first place, so they could have time to practice for this tournament that was going to happen later on in the week. Tfue decided to drop his $140,000. Those other 2 went over there and got that Madden money. Now, like I said, they didn't make $140,000. I don't know what they made, but they didn't make $140,000. Tfue's pissed off. Tfue's pissed off because he turned down the money to play Fortnite. At least one of the 2 guys, at least the video that I saw, he was basically like, Tfue's a fucking idiot. Like, he should have went and got his money. He's like, who cares if we didn't have enough time to practice? Who turns down guaranteed money for money that may or may not even come through if we place? He's like, that's Tfu's fault. That ain't my problem. Yeah, I agree with that guy. Tfu was an idiot. To turn down $140,000 to chase after basically Fortnite glory. Now, don't be wrong. If you love Fortnite or if you love any of your game of choice, that's one thing. But it's one stream. It's one day. And you're getting paid $140,000. Who the fuck is going to turn that down for one day's work? But then again, now that leads me to a personal question for you guys, or a second question, because like I said, who's going to turn down $140,000 for one day's work? But here's my second question to you: how much money is Tfu worth, or how much money does Tfu have that he can afford to turn down $140,000? Think about that. DSP News.
Any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
Like, just think about that. So, someone has such crazy reach and influence over their audience, thousands and thousands of people, that they feel that if you play their game, that thousands of people will buy the game to justify $140,000 of an advertising budget for them to just play it once, right? Like, that's pretty crazy. I mean, just think about it. This is what happened with Apex Legends. No one was talking about Apex Legends at all. It was an unknown factor. Most people didn't know what the game was or that it was coming out. No one gave a shit about it. All of a sudden, EA opens their pocketbook, and every major streamer is playing the game for 2-3 days. It's like, what? Like, obviously something's going on, a game I've never heard of. Now everyone's playing it out of nowhere. I mean, come on, use your fucking head. And because of that, the game became popular.
But just because Phil didn't hear about it means nobody else heard about it either. Which means that basically, when Phil knows something, all of you guys know around the same time too. Which is just stupid logic, first and foremost. People were hyping it up for a long-ass time, and Phil just wasn't paying attention to it because he didn't know what it was. And he was too lazy to look it up. Second, didn't Ninja get paid like $1 million to play Apex Legends? Shit. Boy got bread off that. But yet again, these are people who are known for bringing people in. They're known for their viewership, and they're known for moving product. You know what I mean? They're your modern day cyber Silicon Valley drug dealers, if you will. That's what they do. They move product. It's not just a matter of playing video games, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of which, I'm just joking about that last part. But it's not about just playing video games, ladies and gentlemen. It's about, can you move merchandise? Can you move product? Phil can't do that. Phil cannot do that. And that is an aspect of the business. You coming up on stream and giving up and having a bunch of drooling idiots give you money is nothing compared to, can you move stuff? Can I plaster your face on this shirt, on this mug, on these shoes, or whatever, and can you sell hundreds of them a month? Those guys can. They sell thousands, tens of thousands of it. Phil will get lucky if he can move a couple of shirts a month. Think about that.
Basically being a influencer or a shill for a product or game means you can't say anything negative about it, and I would never do that.
If for a few months.
And yet again, Phil's not this nonsense thing about, oh, I don't want to be a shill because I can't say negative things about stuff. That's it? Because you can't speak negatively about stuff. You think that you don't want to get corporate money. Have you ever heard of a constructive criticism? You can do that. But see, Phil doesn't actually know the difference between constructive criticism and just outright being negative. So it's funny how he calls detractors, trolls, and haters, oh, they don't say anything constructive to me. Everything's just negative. Everything's just negative. That's all they look at life, and that's all they see it. But yet this guy right here won't actually take a corporate deal. Because why? Because he can't say anything negative. Think about that.
There. It was the top battle royale game. You know, Fortnite got knocked down a peg for a while, where people weren't really talking about Fortnite as much as Apex Legends. It wasn't until finally Apex Legends kind of...
People are always talking about Fortnite because Fortnite is constantly updating their game. What the fuck are you talking about? And you don't even play Fortnite. So how much would Phil really know anyway?
Pooch, as they say, when they stopped updating it. They announced, oh, well, we don't want to overwork our dev team, so we're going to not do as many updates as maybe other Battle Royale games. Everyone was like, well, we're not just going to keep playing the same map, the same characters, the same shit with no tweaks and no updates. So I guess we don't care, and that's it. And then Apex Legends kind of lost its popularity, right? Because of that. Which sucks, because they had this big... EA's spending, right, gave the game this exposure, had a ton of people playing it, and if they had stayed on top and were updating it constantly like Fortnite was doing, they might have overtaken Fortnite and become the #1 Battle Royale game, but instead they took a different approach and completely squandered anything that they had, in my opinion.
And where were they going to find the time and money to do all those updates? Hence the reason why they took a break in the first place. And even if they had the money, where were they going to find the time for the dev team? Yet again, I guess common sense doesn't play a factor in this equation when it comes to business. And let's be honest, Apex Legends was never going to take over Fortnite. Fortnite it prints money. It prints money. And Phil is so desperate that he has to try to knock it down at every chance. Kind of like what he used to do with PewDiePie when PewDiePie used to get his ass in trouble. Kind of like what he tried to do with Pro Jared. You're telling me he would do that to actual people, but he wouldn't do that to a video game to try to set his own point? To paint his own narrative?
So, it is what it is, but it's pretty crazy that these streamers have this insane amount of influence. Like, think about how much money. $140,000 to play a game once.
That's insanity.
And they expect to make that money back with the exposure that the game got on one freaking stream, right? That's crazy, man.
It's Madden. Madden's always going to make money, no matter what. And they know that. Hence the reason why they had the money put aside to do it. It's called budgeting, Phil. And in a time where marketing, right, a marketing budget is a thing, maybe if we put some money into these people right here who are playing it daily, right, that might better our sales than maybe throwing it on a bunch of television ads or a bunch of YouTube ads that might not get targeted to the people that we want it to get targeted to. Crazy idea. Well, I guess that's what happens when you think yourself into a box and can't do anything else but that. But I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. SnortBucks coffee. The best coffee. The best part of waking up is SnortBucks in your cup. Here we go.
Anyway, let's continue on. Modern day Homer tipped me $1 and says, "You do realize that when you say nothing I can do about it, you sound insecure and immature as hell." No, I don't.
The salty tears.
I sound like I'm a realist. I sound like I'm an adult, a mature adult.
Lol.
Who understands that you cannot just magically fix everything on planet Earth. You can't control situations that you can't control. And sometimes you just gotta give in and say, well, it's out of my control, and that's life. And you roll with the punches and you deal with it. Because let me tell you, that was one of the major things about me growing up, was realizing that I can't fix everything, that not everything's under my control, that the world's not perfect, and I can't make it perfect, and just learning to accept the shortcomings of life sometimes. That's something that comes with age and comes with experience, something that it sounds like you don't have. So, I thank you for the $1 tip. You don't know what you're talking about.
Wait! Okay. To an extent, he's right. There, you can't control everything. You can walk out of your house tomorrow and get hit. Like, you know what I'm saying, get hit by a car, whatever the case may be. So he's right about that to an extent. But when he says nothing I can do because my business is failing, when he's saying nothing that I can do because I don't have any money because I didn't budget properly or I didn't save money because I'm a fucking moron and I thought I was going to get paid crazy money forever to do goddamn absolutely nothing, that's different. The things that directly affect Phil is of his own making, of his own doing. If he had a plan, if he saved his money, if he stopped acting like a negative piece of shit, he would be okay. He wouldn't be great. He'd never be Ninja. He'd never be PewDiePie. He'd never be any of these people who he thinks in the resuscitation, in the deepest voids of that fucking of this head of his, right? This blockhead that he has, that he influenced these people and they owe him, which is preposterous in his own right. He would never be them, ever. Even if he went back and redid his online life, he would never make it there. He just doesn't have it. You know what I mean? Like, ladies and gentlemen, let's call a spade, right? I've been ranting a lot in this, so just kind of bear with me. It's one thing to be able to obtain notoriety, obtain large amounts of money, doing all these things online, right? If you want to call it success, call it success. It's one thing to obtain it and to get it, but it's another thing to keep it. And that's what makes you successful. That's what makes you special. And Phil's none of those things. Phil was in the right place at the right time, sorta. And that's what that comes down to. But why can't he keep it? He thinks he did keep it because he's still online, he's still making money. But he's not making as much money. The money he's making now doesn't even come off of what he does. It comes off of begging. It's not because of playing these games. It's not because he puts out an entertaining product. It's not because he's able to move shirts that people are proud to wear. Or it's not even because he's a fucking human being that people really want to support because they genuinely think he's a good person or he's a talented individual or any of those things. The only reason why he's making money the way he does is because he's a pathetic piece of shit that people feel bad for. That's it. That's it. He was lucky enough to have it. He was too stupid and too lazy and didn't have anything else, so he couldn't keep it. And now he's just hobbling along off sympathy. Off sympathy. Off people who just feel bad for him. Because they believe that he can't do anything else. And that should hurt him even more. He cries and complains about, oh, I can't do anything else. This is all I have. Here's where you really fucked up, Phil. You actually convinced people that exact same thing. So now, the people who give him large amounts of money, they believe that he really can't do anything else. He has no talent. He has no skills. He has no knowledge or know-how. You can see that just by how he conducts himself now. In an industry which should be easy. Video games. There's no reason why he shouldn't be up to date on video game news. He's not up to date on at least some of the publishers, at least publishers that he's interested in or with the games that they come out. There's no reason why he's not up to date on what new releases are going to come out. There's no reason for none of those things. This is all he does all day. This is his world. And he fails at it. And his failure has emanated in such a way to where now when we come to this real life shit, and he says, I can't do this, I have to keep doing what I'm doing, he actually convinced people that now he really can't do it. He really isn't smart enough to go out there and get a job. He isn't smart enough to go out there and get a job in his field. He's not smart enough to go back to school. He's not smart enough to go to a tech school. He's not smart enough to do anything but to sit on his couch and fail. The greatest trick that Phil Burnell ever pulled was convincing the world that he was a piece of human garbage and he couldn't do anything else.
Dermatitis before. I have shitty skin. I do. I have oily skin that's not only prone to like fucking rashes and itchiness and but also sometimes dryness, but also acne, like the whole gamut of skin problems. That's because my mom has bad skin. So I got her bad skin. It sucks. It's hereditary.
He says, a while back, I suggested that you do polls about what games you should stream or skip entirely. A good way to go about it would be that you do them on stream after turning sub-only mode on. I wouldn't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to do polls on a stream or anything like that. You know, I know how to poll on my forums. I know how to poll with, like...
Too lazy, to prove my point yet again, too lazy to learn how to put polls on his streams. Excuse me. Too lazy to do that. Especially if he doesn't know, especially if he thinks that he can't manipulate it. So he definitely don't want no part of that at all. On Twitch every day, 6 days a week, 6 hours a day, never thought about once in his spare time to think about, I wonder if I can make a poll. Or when he says the stream is over and he's actually sitting, leaning back on his couch or love seat, looking at the chat and everything after he's supposedly gone and done for the night, won't ever think about going up there and looking for the feature where he could do that.
What is it? The polls you do online? Straw poll? I know that I think there's like things you can add to your stream. Like bots and things that'll do polls for you. But I don't necessarily think that just polling one stream is an accurate way either to determine, you know, what games people want to see. And the truth of the matter is, I hate to say it, a lot of the times, it's a vocal minority. And what I mean by that is, if you ask, what game do you want to see? You might get a ton of people who ask for a game, and then when you play the game, they don't show up. That's happened to me a bunch. Where, oh, you know, what game do you guys want to see? Oh, I want this game. Okay, I play it, and no one shows up, and everyone says, why are you playing this boring game? You know, a lot of people just trust me to kind of make the right decisions, to put out entertaining content for them. And a lot of people just like to like, lean back and relax. They just want.
But you fail at the decisions that you make. And you complain about no one's out here watching these games. That's why that's why when you manipulate the polls like you normally do, it blows right back up in your face, which is absolutely hilarious. And you get mad that people laugh at you because you failed. You even said that people come there to your streams to watch you fail. But you're the reason why. But now you want to sit there and say, oh, it's a vocal minority or majority, I should say. And, you know, those same people won't even show up. Well, when the games are announced that supposedly won, most of them don't show up anyway. And if they do, they don't stay long. And so if they're not going to stay long, there's no guarantee that they're going to give you any money. And if they didn't stay long, that certainly means they didn't enjoy it. So you're in a lose-lose situation either which way. What? Like, and they just want to sit back and just chill. If they're going to sit back and chill, how are you getting any money out of them for that? Especially when they're not entertained. Hence the reason why they keep leaving. Jesus.
Watch the stream and enjoy. They don't want to have to be the determining factor of what I'm playing on a stream. You see what I mean? So, even though I agree that
but if they're invested, though, why wouldn't they want to make their voices heard? Sounds like a dictatorship. It sounds like a dictatorship with the illusion of choice.
Very important. I do think that it's very important. You have to listen to what people are asking for and what people are saying. A lot of the times, it doesn't pan out. I'll be very honest with all of you. I've noticed that Japanese-centric games, especially games that look like anime, don't do well for attendance and usually don't hold an ongoing audience. But
it wasn't always that way, though. Back when Patreon was relevant, but meaning that when he was actually on YouTube and used to do Patron's Choice, the Japanese-centric games used to win more often than not. And even if they didn't win for whatever reason, they made up the bulk of the what was it, $1,250 goal. That was the audience that was coming in and basically carrying the day for Patreon. And the moment he basically made his shift over to Twitch, all those people dried up. He fucked himself on that. So when he says that the attendance ain't there and there's no support there for those games, that's because he ran them off. That's what that was. Because remember, we're not supposed to be caring about viewer numbers now. We're supposed to be caring about just financial support. Think about that. Viewership's not supposed to be a thing. Financial support's supposed to be.
Some of the games do actually have a core audience of people who will come and continue to watch said playthrough if they feel that the game is good. So, for example, a ton of people asked me to play Astral Chain, and were yelling for Astral Chain for weeks. I almost guarantee you that if I had played Astral Chain at launch, no one would have cared. Everyone would have said, what is this game? It looks like anime. I don't understand why Phil's playing this when he could be playing other games. That's what always happens with my streams. That, you know, I don't know why my viewing audience is like that. I don't know. Because I like a wide variety of games, and I actually very much like Japanese-centric style games. I've always liked them. You know, ever since I started playing them, back in the day with games like Catherine and Disgaea, I thought that they were fun and interesting and quirky and different. But for whatever reason, my viewing...
That's not true, because he just shitted on Catherine not too long ago when people asked him to play the remake and he wouldn't do it. Saying that he thought it was going to be a good concept, but it's all these puzzles and things were confusing, and I was all disoriented. So I don't even know why he even brought that up when he just shitted on that.
It doesn't really catch on with them. That's just life, you know, and you gotta just kind of accept it. Not everything that I like is going to be something that's popular with a mainstream viewing audience who watches my stuff. But it's funny, because I didn't play Astral Chain, and tons of people come to my streams constantly screaming, why didn't you play it? Where is it? It's like, dude, no one even talked about Astral Chain until it was released. Like, literally no one talked about it until the game came out, and then all of a sudden everyone's wondering why I didn't play it. Like, I didn't even know what it was. No one had said a word to me about it. I didn't know what the fuck Astral Chain was. And now all of a sudden everyone supposedly wants to see me play it, right? I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It seems like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If I just constantly do polling... It
sounds to me like just one ignorant bastard just leading around a bunch of other ignorant bastards. That's kind of what it seems like. That's pretty much what it is. It's the blind leading the blind. It really is. And he doesn't even want to try to fix it. Doesn't want to even try to make it better. He wants to pick the games that he wants to play, and when they're successful, he can be like, see, I know what you guys want. And if they're not successful, oh, it's all you guys' fault because you didn't come out and support it. And he keeps telling you, oh, we need to hit the sub goal. We need to make your voice heard, this, that, and the third. I want to do what you guys want. Just, you guys got to talk to me. People talk to him. He gives them all the excuses under the sun on why he can't do it. Oh, boy.
I'll probably be told to play certain games, and then I'll play them and no one will watch. And then if I just choose things to play for myself, sometimes they're hits and sometimes they're misses. I'll be honest, I thought GTA 4 might have been like a dead playthrough. It actually ended up being one of the better playthroughs this summer, and a lot of people show up every time I play it. So, there you go. And that's one that I picked out of a hat and said, I want to play this, and apparently it worked. People like it. Okay? Alright, continuing on. Well, anyway, let's see here. Okay, so next I got a $5 tip from someone. I guess this is meant to be an insult. They said,
Views, views, views. I don't want to be Mr. Views. Just call me Mr. Tips. I like how you're laughing, too.
Well, it's funny.
yeah, I need help with tips because of my situation. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a streamer being honest with their viewing audience and saying, hey guys, if you want to help me out the most, this is what you could do? My opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you think there's something wrong with that? That's fine. And you can keep your opinion to yourself because I don't care. How about that? Because I'm the streamer who has to make a living doing this. I'm the one who has to put out the entertaining streams, not you. So I don't really care about your uneducated opinion.
Toxic. But if you're putting out an entertaining stream, then why would you need to beg? Remember, he says if you tip him, it's because you feel like he's providing you a quality service, and you feel the need to be generous. Well, if that's the case, then why does he feel the need to beg? And why does he feel the need to beg every day? And he has a pre-stream that's 60% of it is about giving him money because he has all these problems. Actually, 80, I'd say probably 90% of it actually is. Something to think about, right?
Go. Der Deutschhund tipped me $1 and says, if you play Astral Chain, I will tip you good money. Well, as I said, sadly, I'm in no situation right now to be buying any games. Right now, the games that I'm playing are the ones that have to last me for a bit, unless people gift me, like, PSN credits or whatever. I can't even buy Borderlands 3. So that's the situation I'm in. It sucks. And again, I hear you. Some people have been screaming for me to play Astral Chain, and I'm not against eventually playing it. It just wasn't something that was on my radar for August. And at this point, you know, I'm in a situation where I'm playing other games that I can't even afford anything anyway. So.
Ace cheered. He said, let's be honest, and this is with all due respect, there's nothing wrong with asking people for money. Ultimately, people do whatever they want with their money. You're right. You're absolutely right, Ace. And, you know, I agree with you. Like, if there's different ways to do it, too. Like,
here's the problem, though. He used to shit on other people who used to get donations or ask donations back in the day. And now that he has to do that, keep in mind, he has to do that, now all of a sudden it's not a problem. Maybe you just shouldn't have a comment on any of that. What other people are doing, especially if it don't affect you, which it didn't affect him, he should have shut the fuck up on. But see, he wanted to be Mr. Opinionated, he wanted to be Mr. Real, and he wanted to speak his piece. Now all of a sudden, he's doing it too, and now he doesn't want nobody to speak on him. That's the problem. That's one of the major problems. Secondly, he's capable, let's reword that. He's capable of generating money and what he's doing currently, and if he has to go out and get a job. The thing is, the marketing scheme is, he's going to live off you guys. If you're okay with being victims, you're okay with being victims. But that's what the problem is.
Who just asked you for money just to ask you for money. And that's different from someone who puts out a daily service for you and is saying, if you feel there is value to what I do, if you feel that, you know, the content that I personally have put out for 11 years has value to you, and you love that I do this content and you want to see this content continue, then please contribute because I need help. That's different than someone just saying, give me a handout. I don't even know, you don't even know who the hell they are, and they just walk up to you, give me a handout, right? A little different.
As I said, it's called crowdfunding. That's exactly what it is. It's crowdfunding.
It's, I put out a free service, but you like the service so much and you want it to continue that I will optionally contribute because I choose to, because I want to see this free service continue in the future. versus, hey, just give me something, lend me a $5, right? And then the guy runs away, you never see him again. Very different. And so I agree with you, Asa. Can't wait. Tip me $1 saying I can't wait for video game companies to start taxing streamers a service for playing their game, which anyone can do. We've talked about this on stream before, and essentially, it doesn't seem like it would be something that would happen like with all companies. I think what could happen is that collectively, certain companies, these are the same companies, by the way, that really just don't understand gaming culture. They put out games, but then they're managing.
Here's the point. If it does happen, Phil's screwed. There's going to be a few people that are going to be screwed. And what that's going to happen, and so he's thinking, oh, well, I'm going to have to skip these games because I don't want to pay the licensing fee, which goes back to that whole licensing fee nonsense that he liked to throw at you. That, hey, I already paid a licensing fee when I bought the game, so I have full rights to do whatever I want to do with the game. Now, if they decide to tax you for being a streamer or even a YouTuber, now all of a sudden, where's all that licensing fee nonsense going to come about then? Because now people can actually take that shit to court. And once those first few people lose, then all of a sudden, Phil's going to go ahead and give that whole licensing nonsense up. Because he's going to know that's not going to work no more. Then all it's going to do is take the amount of games that he wanted to play, and now the pool's going to get smaller and smaller. And now he has to play games that he doesn't like or he doesn't even want to play, but he has no choice because they're the only games that are available to him. And once people like himself get corralled into that, who aren't willing to pay the licensing fees, then those companies who are getting all the exposure from them will charge them a licensing fee too, eventually, because they have them hooked. And then it's just a matter of how much is the licensing fee going to be? Is it a company by company type thing, or is it going to be a universal fee that's applied to everybody? Think about that.
Structure is so out of whack, they don't get it. I hate to say it, companies like Atlas would be infamous for this, where they put out games and, oh, someone wants to stream our game, block half the content and you know, copyright strike them for playing our fucking game. You're like, what? Like, people bought your game, they want to share their gameplay experience with others, it's free publicity, and you want to strike them down with copyright strikes. Like, it's crazy. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. In general, alright, most of these companies are in line with gaming culture. They understand how streaming works, they understand that it's all free publicity, and they realize that doing negative consequences against people who are sharing their gameplay experiences of their games positively is not in their best interest. Alright? Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what would happen, quite frankly, in regards to that. I guess we would have to see, you know, what actually happens in the long term, if this could be something that would develop, that someone would actually try. Someone would actually try to tax a streamer or whatever. I don't know. The truth of the matter is, I've heard nothing about it at all. I think it's something that's, again, one of these things that gets talked about, but it's definitely not anything that's like we need to be freaking out about or anything, okay? Reminder, guys, the absolute best way that you can contribute today is...
So we're not going to have a plan for it at all until it actually happens, and then we go into full panic mode. Sounds about right.
Me. Alright, I need the help with tips. No exaggeration, you know, I'm in a situation where things are really bad, and I need the support. So if you guys can tip me at all, please do today. I appreciate anyone who does. Now, let's see what happened with my game here, because sadly yesterday, everything crashed. Like I said, at the very end of me playing, everything crashed, and I'm hoping, okay, I'm hoping that everything works here, and that the game save didn't corrupt or whatever. We'll find out, I guess. Last Rainbow was asking, why does it say that a gift card is currently unavailable? We don't know if this item will be available again on my Amazon wish list. I don't know what gift card you're talking about. What I found out is I guess certain people in certain regions cannot buy certain gift cards from outside their own region. So someone, like, it was like someone from Asia or the European Union tried to buy me, like, a Switch credits, and it wouldn't do it. It would tell it was an error, you can't buy this item or whatever. Because you have to buy the American version of the credits for PSN for me to be able to use them. So I don't know, Last Rainbow. I don't know I need to know what you're referencing, and I could probably look into it. And if it shows up as available for me, then there's nothing I can do about it. It just means that for some reason they won't let you buy it. Yes, Prime Rapier, I heard this game has a lot of bugs.
It's gonna be all about the penne. It's all about the penne, baby. It's all about the penne, baby. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone, just gone like that in an instant.
Oh boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming down the final stretch here. Alright, last video of the broadcast. I'll see you guys in just a second.
Fucking gone.
This is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
I haven't played Dragon Quest Builders 2 in several weeks, and that's a playthrough that I...
Oh boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, final video of the broadcast. I know this has been a long one. We are here with Snort Burnell, DSP. I'm still in the red. No more house tours. And this, this has become a good way to make money. Oh, Christ. Here we go.
Played, you know, over the course of July and August, and I really like the game. And by the way, I should say this, I'm not quitting the game. Some people are like, oh man, Phil hasn't played it in weeks, I guess it's over. No, it's not. It's just that that was the playthrough that very much was during a time period when, you know, there were no new releases out, and it was a way to have variety in my content, so that I wasn't just constantly playing the same one or two games. But obviously when there's other new releases out, they're going to take priority, okay? So Dragon Quest Builders 2 is continuing, and I'm thinking I may have to, at this point, make it like a late night stream, only because I don't see how else I'm going to have time to really play it, because I don't really have any real daytime stream openings for it right now. So maybe I'll do...
It's funny, because if he actually wanted to play it, he'd make time for it. So keep that in mind. And that, and as he said, Dragon Quest Builders have been on the back burner for weeks. So...
that Wednesday night. I'm not sure. You know, I might just ask you guys or see what people are feeling like once we get to Wednesday, okay? Thursday I'm off. Thursday's my day off from streaming this week. I'm back on Friday, and quite frankly, I don't know what I'm playing on Friday, because it really depends on how the rest of this week goes, the 3 more days this week that I'm streaming. As you guys know, I've been telling you, financially I'm in a really bad position. I'm still in the red when it comes to my bank account, which means even with all the money that I've raised this week, I still haven't raised enough to get myself back to the black, and I've got... I believe it's 3 bills, I want to say, that are going to be attempting to clear in the next few days.
It's a money pit.
I don't get paid by Twitch until the 15th. So, you know, with 6 days to go before potentially I see any money from Twitch, very, very hairy position. And sadly, I would love to say, oh yeah, let's play Borderlands 3 this Friday. I can't even really afford it. You know, it's going to be dependent on, number one, how many contributions come in during the week, and number two, if someone maybe gifts some PlayStation Network credit, so I can just get the game that way, via my Amazon wishlist. But yeah, if neither of those things come together, then I guess I'm not playing Borderlands 3 starting this Friday, okay? It sucks. I don't like being in this position as a content creator, but the truth of the matter is I have more than enough other stuff to do. It's not like I don't have games to play. I have tons of stuff that I can potentially play until I get back on my feet here. But it's, you know, that's just life. That's the reality kind of right now. With everything going on in my life, is that I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and if I don't have the funds to buy the new game, I can't buy the new game, right? So, I guess we'll see what happens. On Friday, I may be starting up Borderlands 3, or we may just be continuing on with the current playthroughs that I'm doing. I guess we'll see. Alright, everybody?
DSP, get the job.
Oh my god, here we go, moron. I have a job, it's much better than yours. I am the Toe Master.
Did a 50-bit cheer and says, I'm allergic to gluten, so I can't use the sandwich emote, but here's 50 bits for Gatorade. Alrighty then. Thank you for the cheer. Then he cheered again. He says, here's a big old tip for you, Philly cheese stream. God damn, I want to... Alright, enough of this. Captain K-Man did another 100-bit cheer and says, with all the business pros know that you're... What? You are to go into the red as much as you can while stashing away cash. Then you file for bankruptcy one time allowed only. What on earth are you talking about, and what the hell does that mean? I have no idea. Anyway, let's continue on.
I'm the lol cow. You know, please, if you can at all, and you want to be supportive, please tip me. I need the help, I do, to get out of this financial situation, you know, and so tips are helping me way more than anything else right now. Yep, I'm toxic. The Detractor Factor Tip me $5 and says we want to see your tax returns along with all of your bank statements and credit reports. Okay, sounds good. I'm sure you do. Thank you for the $5 tip. You're the top tipper of the day.
Too lazy to mute the mic on that, by the way. He had to do it. It's only 2 seconds, and if you guys aren't mature enough to just accept that for what it is, you need to leave. You need to grow up. His words, not mine.
Devour. Excuse me.
All right, this next one is kind of funny. I'm going to read this one out only because I think this is kind of funny, all right? Toxic Toilet Juice, good start, did a 50-bit cheer and asks the following. Get ready. I don't mean to insult. Now, you know when they start with I don't mean to insult, it immediately means there's an insult coming right after, right? Like, you know that. Or else why would they say I don't mean to insult? All right. I don't mean to insult, but I'm a bit suspicious of the fact that you suddenly stopped house tours after having tax issues. Are you buying things around the house that you don't want us to see?
It's obvious.
Obviously.
And obviously I'm looking for more and more.
I mean, you had Jasper and you never told us. What else do you have around? First of all, that's actually not what happened. I stopped doing house tours in 2017, essentially, when my life changed. When I decided, actively in 2017, that sharing personal things about my life that had nothing to do with my streaming was hurting me detrimentally in a massive way. You know, and this is coming from someone who since 2008...
So it's funny that the year that Catherine moves in is the year he decides to give all that up. So, yeah, the possibility that there's been some changes in the Burnell household isn't too far off of the mark. I'm not sure if I could say new furniture, though, because we've seen pictures of Jasper on Instagram, and the couch that they're all sitting on still looks like the same couch. Actually, it's not even the couch that they're all sitting on. It's really just the couch that Phil and Jasper are sitting on. Haven't seen Catherine in any of those pictures in a while, unless she's in her room and whatnot. And she does have a very different computer table or a computer desk than Panda did. So it makes you wonder what, or Panda had. So it makes you wonder what happened to that. Because Panda didn't take it with her.
Had been making videos, and since I think it was like 2000, I want to say it was 2009 when I made the reveal video of what I looked like and everything. And I was, you know, on a daily basis, I was basically sharing everything with you guys about what I was up to. You know, any new additions and things that I had to my condo when I lived in the condo in Connecticut and into the house here. You know, I was taking pictures of various things and stuff. You know, it was basically a situation where I was very transparent about everything going on in my life. You guys were aware of everything that was going on in my life because I shared it all with you, right? And, you know, that was fun until, sadly, people decided that I was, like, the biggest villain of the internet, and they were now going to use every little thing in my videos to try to hurt me. You know, so, I'll just give you a...
I mean, he was the one that was sitting there crying broke and then going on a staycation for 4 days. It's a bit problematic. And then have the nerve to come back and say he needed more money, too.
One example, all right? A single example to give you some perspective for those of you who may not be aware of how this has happened, okay? So, around the year 2015, 2016, around that time is when basically YouTube fell apart at the seams and my YouTube channel lost a lot of its notoriety and popularity for various reasons, mostly false copyright strikes, but many other reasons as well.
Yeah.
And my income dipped significantly, and it was during those years that I was trying to lean on Patreon a lot. I was trying to, you know, urge people to contribute to very various means so I could stay a full-time YouTuber, okay? Well, as this was happening, all right, people would basically watch when I did videos and vlogs in my home and use these against me. So I'm not even kidding you, during an episode of DSP Tries It, okay, someone in the background of one of my videos noticed that I had a coffee maker in the background, and it was one of the automatic Keurig coffee makers. They took the picture of the coffee maker and went online to try to figure out the model of the coffee maker that it was. They found someone selling this coffee maker on Amazon, I'm not even kidding you, for like $400 or $500, and then proceeded to basically try to share that as factual information and say Phil has a $500 coffee maker in his kitchen, and he's trying to ask you guys for money. He's a scam artist, you know, how dare you? Now, just think how insane this is. All right? Now, the truth of the matter is, and here's how silly this situation is, I had that coffee maker for years, okay? That was a coffee maker that I had when I lived in Connecticut. And
now, I don't know why he would lie about that, knowing that you could just go back to his Connecticut vlogs, and you could see that, obviously, both coffee makers are not the same model. So, yeah, you would think he'd be, I don't know, you'd think he'd be a little bit more on the ball than that. But maybe not.
The reason that coffee maker was so expensive on Amazon was because it was outdated by like 3-4 years, but apparently it was a model that a lot of people liked. So those who had kept it in stock basically could sell it at a really exorbitant price because you couldn't buy it in stores anymore. So what this idiot was seeing on Amazon was an insanely overinflated price for this coffee maker because it was an outdated model that people really liked and you couldn't buy anymore. It was out of
Wait, did he just say Amazon? Because did he not just say this was on... Didn't he say eBay? I might have messed up there. I thought he said eBay, but now he's saying Amazon. Oh, well. I'm sure someone in the comment section will catch it.
So saying, oh, Phil has a $500 coffee maker, you know, a completely ridiculous thing to say because it's not the case at all. When I bought that coffee maker years ago, by the way, I bought that coffee maker during my height of the days of YouTube when I was making ridiculous money on YouTube and I could afford to buy an expensive coffee maker if I wanted back then. But regardless of that fact, it was never $500. I think if I actually rethink way back, it might have been like maybe between $100 and $200 because I got it on sale.
Really?
I had to lie. Because I never told you the truth. I didn't feel like it was going to benefit anyone.
And I wanted a nice coffee maker because I felt that having fresh coffee when I was doing my YouTube videos. This is, you know, back when around the time when I was just starting with direct capture.
As you can hear the instability in his speech patterns. Also, I guess he needed it to try to fight off the hangovers because Phil was drinking every night.
And everything. So, you know, you're talking a time when I wanted to have, like, caffeine with me constantly when I was recording and stuff. You see, it's just really ridiculous. CTE 900 just said, I just checked Amazon. My discontinued keyboard is worth over $350 now. What a great way to value items. But you guys see the point I'm making? Is that this is what happened when I was sharing everything with everyone. These really messed up people.
I'm sorry. The only thing is because it's kind of nagging me now. I'm pretty sure he initially said eBay, right? But then at the end, he went ahead and flipped it over to Amazon. So did you forget, or... Yeah, you can tell this video's gone too long. This broadcast has gone too long. Alright, well, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm sure someone will catch it.
Would take little things from the videos that I would do of vlogging in my house and somehow find a way to screw with me. Let me give you one more example without any specifics. Someone saw something laying around in a video that should not have been left out, used that to contact a company, impersonate me, and make changes to an account that I had. I'm not exaggerating. They basically found, in a video, there was something lying around on a counter, and they used that to figure out that I had an association with a particular company.
What?
Now, I think that was like one of his condo walkthroughs back in Connecticut. And if I remember correctly, because Tevin actually ended up going over a bunch of those videos too, Phil showed the damn thing on camera. Like, he actually showed, oh yeah, this envelope, this letter here, but don't worry about it. No big deal. And it's like, if somebody sees it, someone sees it. They can't do anything anyway. So, that's his fault yet again. It's not like it was just randomly laying around and he wasn't thinking about it. Just like how back in Connecticut, he had ordered a bunch of stuff off Amazon, or he'd ordered a bunch of stuff from wherever. He had like a bunch of boxes in the corner in his kitchen. And first off, he should have broke them bitches down. And two, he should have taken them outside. But I can't remember what lazy excuse did he have for it. But his address was clean and clear on that bitch. And he was like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. People want to find me, they'll find me. I'm a public figure. But then he says he got doxxed. Years later, I should say, he says he got doxxed. Fuck out of here.
They called the company, impersonated me, and screwed up everything with that company. And then I had to, after the fact, go back and try to fix all those things that they fucked up. And by the way, that's not the only time that's happened. That's happened with other things as well, but that was just one particular thing. As a result of directly of me making a video of stuff in my house, people fucked with me. Okay? So, that's just a couple examples. You know, there's many things that have happened over the years as a result of me sharing things in my house and doing house vlogs and stuff. The truth of the matter is the stuff in my house is no one's business. Alright? And no, it's not because I'm hoarding giant fucking marble statues and fountains of myself in the fucking hallway. I don't have an opening foyer that looks like the fucking, you know, the mansion in Resident Evil. You know? It's that, you know, there's stuff around the house that, you know, my God forbid that I have like a bottle of medication sitting on my countertop that I take, and someone sees it and uses that to try to figure out if I, you know, oh my God, Phil has a medical condition. What could that be? You see what I mean?
Wow. Pathetic.
You've already told us that you have a medical condition. You've been hinting at it for like the last like. He's been hinting at it since the business tax. Since he told us about the business taxes, the back business tax. So what's that? 2 years? So we already know he has a condition. I don't know why he acted brand new about that.
Excuse?
I mean, unless he's worried about, unless Catherine's on like antipsychotics or some shit like that, and he doesn't want that to come out. I'm not saying that she is or she isn't. I'm just throwing that out there as an example.
Really fucked up stuff that people do, and essentially, you just get tired at some point of people being up in your fucking business and using everything against you as a negative. And I had enough. And so in 2017, I basically cut all that shit off. If you guys saw, essentially, I was just doing DSP Tries It at that point, and then I stopped doing it entirely in 2018, and since then, I just don't do that kind of video anymore. Because I just don't want to share my personal life stuff, unless I talk about it on a stream, which is fine. That's one thing. But for me to be, you know, you seeing stuff from my house that has nothing to do with my streams, is none of your business. It's all, you know, it's my wife and I's business, and that's it. There's just no point anymore, alright? And you have to understand that it wasn't that I didn't want to be transparent and share stuff. I did for many years, and people used it to hurt me, and when finally, after years and years of this happening, I had to put my foot down and say enough is enough, and kind of change up my philosophy on how I was going to do stuff on the internet. It would have been one thing if you guys, well, he always hided stuff, and therefore we definitely are very, you know, skeptical of what he's got or whatever, or what he's doing there. That's not the case. I was transparent. People hurt me with the information. That's why I stopped. Like, there's concrete evidence of things that people have done to fuck with me based on stuff they've seen when I do house tour videos and the like. So why would you not understand, if you're a logical human, why I would?
You said there's concrete evidence, then where is it? There's concrete evidence of people fucking with you and your family in all these different ways. Where is the evidence? Like, where's the proof of any of it? Just throwing it out there. Your word isn't good enough. I guess no one over there in your fan base will really come out and say it, but it's not. I mean, a few of them have, but they get banned. But your word's not good enough.
Yes, you know. But that's the thing. People like this guy here who cheered is not a logical human. This guy is a conspiracy theorist. This guy is a nut job.
Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic.
He thinks that there's always something crazy and sinister going on behind the scenes of someone who just streams video games every day. He's nuts, you know? And you can't help people like that. They need to go seek help for themselves to understand why are they obsessing over a YouTuber, right? Why are they obsessing over a live streamer on Twitch? Why are they obsessing?
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not a YouTuber anymore. You might need to tighten that up. You might need to redact that from the script, Phil.
To the point where every time they put out a video, we micro-analyze every fucking frame to try to figure out personal information to hurt this person. Why are they watching videos and streams of someone they hate? It doesn't make any sense. It's not normal, healthy human behavior. It's actually quite the opposite, and these people need to seek help for this, but they won't, because no one will actually man up and tell them that they need it. Alright? So, it is what it is. I can't help this kind of crazy stuff that these people do, but essentially, I'm not going to share personal information that has nothing to do with my gameplay streams anymore, not because I have some secret sinister agenda and I'm hoarding piles of platinum in my house, but because people will just fuck with me whenever I reveal anything. So, I just won't reveal anything then. Unless I so choose during, like I said, during a conversation.
I won't reveal anything because it'll hurt me until I can reveal something that I can profit from. Wow, like that doesn't make all of that sound suspicious and like a lie, huh? Like, yet again, he really thinks he can kind of just pick and choose, and he can just come out on top either which way. It's fascinating. It really is. It's absolutely fascinating.
A stream or something, okay? And by the way, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The last 2.5 years of my life, personally, have been some of the best years of my life because I met Kat. You know, we got married, moved in together and everything, and our life together is very, very good. And we
despite the fact that you're overdrawn each and every month and you can barely make your bills, right? And you have all these late fees and whatnot. I'm surprised, you know, people haven't called the house. Just throwing it out there.
As a private thing for us. our life together is a private thing for us, and it works because it's a private thing for us. If our life was fully transparent to the world, it probably would be ruined, and you know, we don't want that. That's why we absolutely love having our life together the way we do, okay?
It's funny how he says, you know, we're doing this for us because this is right for us. It's all about us. But he says that he doesn't want people taking stuff out of his videos to hurt him. Isn't him and his wife a unit? Isn't it us? The two of them against the world? But it's all about him getting hurt, right? All right.
There you go. Last Rambo cheered and said, when you said that streaming provides you with the best income from everything that is provided, do you mean the jobs offered in the outskirts of Seattle or the main city of Seattle? Yes. Like, let me put it this way, Last Rambo, alright? If I were to quit streaming entirely right now and go out there and get a job, alright? Essentially, I would be starting with an entry-level job. I've been out of the job market since 2010. That's 9 years, dude.
Where I've been running my own business, which is something to be applauded for sure.
What?
But, you know, the job market out there...
Hell no. Hell no, you're never going to get applauded for that. What the fuck is wrong with you? Maybe if you were successful, but you're not. Here's the reason why we need crowdfunding. Which is funny, right? Because he used to shit on crowdfunding when other people did it years ago, despite the fact that he had been getting, air quotes, crowdfunding in the form of people sending him money for games, as well as just direct donations, before he actually started doing YouTube for an actual living.
Is essentially a few things. You got service industry, right? You've got retail industry. You've got office-style jobs that could be broken down into many different things. But I would have to basically start around customer service level because I don't have background to do anything else. I certainly don't have management level experience documented anywhere. I have some continuous improvement experience, but it's 10 years ago, right? So for me to get a job outside of streaming would be...
You know, maybe if he had some manager experience, maybe he'd be able to run his business better. Can't say that with a straight face. His business. Get the fuck out of here.
Off entry level. And entry level jobs are not high paying jobs. It would be me starting at the ground floor and then maybe within a few years proving myself at the job and showing that I could, you know, not only bust my butt, but that I have the chops to do good work and that they would want to promote me in the company and put me into a more important or more money making position. But essentially, it would be taking a chance on me. So, that being said, you have to understand, when I'm streaming full-time, this is a revenue source that, you know, I have worked on, I have honed, it has become a smooth situation where I have a set schedule. People love the streams, they expect that I'm going to be on time, they feel that I'm very reliable as a streamer because I've done this for so long. They know they can come by and they know what to expect to have a good, relaxing time.
This has become a very consistent and very, you know, good way to make money. And I'm constantly just shilling things nonstop during everything that I do. So it's because I just care about money. That I just can't help it. I'm so just enveloped in greed and money. I need money. I need money.
Okay. Me going out and getting an entry-level job, no matter what it is going to be lower paying than what I do on stream. It's just that matter of fact. There's no way I'm going to go out there and find a job that immediately is going to pay more than what I'm doing here. That's ridiculous, okay? Now, that being said, my goal, long-term, is to eventually get out of the financial situation, the terrible financial situation that I'm in, to the point where I don't have to stream full-time anymore. So, if let's say I can say, all right, I can now go get a lower-paying job somewhere and get my feet in the door and get that entry-level position and start working and get that experience that I need at that job. But while I'm doing that, maybe at night I could stream one stream a day or something, like a night stream, where we can just have fun and relax or whatever. So it's not that I would be giving up my streaming, but essentially I'd be splitting my time between the in real life job and the streaming. See what I mean? And then long term,
there's so many problems with that. First thing, if what you're doing now will eventually get you out of your financial situation, then why would you need to get another job when what you're doing would basically be able to carry the day, right? Because if this job is paying all of his bills plus helping him to get out of debt, once he's all out of debt, wouldn't he have a bunch of extra revenue and he wouldn't need to get a real job? First thing. Secondly, let's say, because his original thing is a 10-year plan, 10 to 15 years. Okay, so he would be what? If 15 years, he would be 10 years. Let's do the 10-year thing. 10-year thing, he'd be what, 37? Or no, he's already 37. He'd be 47. He'd be 47 in 10 years. You add 5 more years onto that, he'd be what, 52? And he thinks he's going to be able to go into a job at the ground floor, and at 55, 56, he would actually have a, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would actually have, he'd be able to elevate himself to a position when people that would be 30 years his senior, if not more, would already occupy those positions. Because not only would they have the experience, but they would have the education. Huh? No! No, that's not how reality works. And don't be wrong, ladies and gentlemen, people change careers all the time. But he's talking about going into a field where... Oh! No! That's not... No. No. Just hell no. Hell no! That's not what's gonna happen. Get this foolery out of here. Let's continue. Let's get this foolishness out of here.
The job that I do in real life could take over for my streaming and become my main thing, and then the streaming could just be a hobby or a way to make a little bit of extra money on the side again, like it used to be. That's what I'm gonna eventually have to go back to, you know, because I never blew up on YouTube like some of these guys that made millions of dollars and now they're set for life and they could literally not make another video and be fine. I'm not in that situation. I'm quite the opposite.
And I've been saying this for years.
But I thought you said there was no valid way for anybody to make money on YouTube anymore. And yet, those people that you're talking about are still on YouTube, apparently making millions and millions of dollars. So why can't you make money on YouTube when they can? And yet again, he was the one who said that there's no valid way to make money on YouTube anymore. That seems that don't seem to add up either. That don't seem to add up either.
Be very careful the people who you support, because the bottom line is a lot of these people who are virally popular are popular for the wrong reasons, or they're popular because, you don't really know who they are, and the next thing you know, you get a pro Jared who, oh shit, I supported this guy for years. Behind the scenes, he was actually a piece of shit, and you supported him for how long? Versus someone out there who isn't huge, who needs the support, who's struggling on a daily basis, and you kind of just didn't give them the time of day because you were so into this guy who was overhyped over here. You see what I mean?
So people should feel bad about the people that they want to support, especially if they're not supporting you? How pathetic does that sound? Wow.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful who you lend your time and support to, because you may have ended up supporting someone for years who just ends up being a scumbucket, versus someone who actually maybe is being unfairly treated. I'm just saying.
But that's applied to you too. People could say that the individuals who support you are wasting their time, supporting a scumbag, when there are other people out there that they should be supporting that would actually appreciate and value them. Holy shit. Did you not think that doesn't go both ways? Matter of fact, who's that chick that Gundam's talking about right now? She's not even new. I guess Gundam's just new to her, but she's actually not new. Is it Nicole Needs Coleslaw, some shit like that. She's nothing new. She's been around since like early Katie'Tron. Like she actually tried to copy Katie'Tron early on in her career. This is back when Katie'Tron used to wear the hoodie and just had some cleavage hanging out every once in a while. And she got away with that shit for a long time too. And then Brittany Venti ended up coming in and boxing Nicole out. And then Katie'Tron took a break, and Brittany basically had the run of the mill for a while until she started getting banned for silly shit. But Nicole has always been a thing. Like, what I'm saying? Gundam doesn't have to go that far back to find it. But yeah, she got herself in all kinds of trouble. She put a chokehold on a cat. She used to do jumping jacks for tips. She did a bunch of shit. She used to try to troll, like I said, she used to try to troll Katie'Tron, but she couldn't because Katie'Tron's smarter than she is. And she never even tried to go at Brittany because Brittany would just eat her alive. But anyway, she made a return now. But here's the point. The point being is that when Nicole made her little came back recently, she immediately went back at Katie'Tron and said that you shouldn't give her all this money. You should give it to me because I'm going to appreciate you, remember your name, and all this, that, and the third. Now, there aren't too many female Twitch thoughts who go at other Twitch thoughts under those pretenses. That you kind of, there's an unspoken rule over there amongst some of that from what I've been told. But she decided to do it. But then there's some things working against her. Her and Katie are a little older now. I think Katie aged a little bit better than Nicole did, but it is what it is. Nicole is kind of used up. I hate to say it, make it sound like that, but she's kind of used up now. So she can kind of let it all hang out and doesn't really care either which way. She has nothing to lose, really, if you think about it. Same type of concept. She can't sit there and say that, oh, she's not gonna remember you guys, she's not gonna value you guys, but I will. When she's forgotten some of her big donators from back in the day who randomly popped up on some of her streams. She couldn't remember any of them either. So how the fuck is she gonna sit there and say she's gonna do something when she's already forgotten how to do it? Just throwing that out there.
So that's the deal. All right, that's what I'm looking to do. But yeah, any job that I get in real life, no way is gonna be making me as much money as I make streaming, and that's why I have to try to do this long-term plan. Okay.
Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone, just gone like that. In an instant, fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you. No decency, no respect, no common sense, no fucking maturity. Is the God?
Not at all. Oh boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the... Thank you yet again to Snort Burnell. Very much appreciate it. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I didn't expect this to be this long. Alright, let's clean up a little bit. So... Okay. Alright, so what do we take away from all this, ladies and gentlemen? Holy shit. Goddamn, there's a lot to go after. The problem is YouTube. It's his problem too. He is a factor in that equation. And this goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that time waits for nobody. And the things that you should take care of now, do it before that shit comes back up on you later when you don't have the opportunities, you don't have the means, you don't have the opportunities to handle it. That's the best thing to take away from it. You can't verify anything that anybody says on the internet. Great, Phil. Thanks for basically co-signing that you're a liar and that everything you say is bullshit, no one should ever believe you, and that this Detractor movement that's been on you for all these years was right in the end. Thanks, Phil. You made the job just so much easier. I expected you to hang yourself, just not that fast. My content is for adults, and only money matters, not the viewership, and it's not worth listening to other people's opinions. You guys already knew all this. His content being for adults, he says that, but he wants it to be for kids because he wants the money. Obviously, he wants the better ads, he wants the better ad revenue opportunities. And still being in the red, no more house tours, and this has become a good way to make money. If begging is a good way to make money, then we've already talked about this, that he's proven that it can be successful. You just can't have any shame, and you can't have no pride. You got to be okay with what comes with that. So if people out in public, for example, look at you and kind of have a stare, you got to live with that. You got to live that, because this is what you put yourself in a position of. You wanted easy money, and you were willing to go to the lowest common denominator to get it. You deserve what you got. Even though most people would be respectful and kind of just stare at you and then move on, I doubt anybody's going to run up on him and call him out, but don't be surprised if it actually happened. No more house tours. It's because he's hiding stuff. That's obvious. And it eventually caught up to him. He should have been honest. Or at least, and with that whole situation with his address, if that's even true, or that business, or whatever the case may be, he should have been more mindful of his surroundings. You act stupid, people are going to take advantage of you. And then him still being in the red, he's always in the red. He's never going to get out. If he's even broke. and whatnot. As far as I'm concerned, this is all subterfuge. It's all just a lie, and it's just a narrative that he has to keep going, and he can't really get out of it now. And it pays so good that he doesn't want to give it up. So that's really what it comes down to. You could call it natural born loser if you want. Call it whatever you're comfortable with, but he's not going. He can't stop now. It's too late. So since he liked to do that whole Biggie Small can't stop, won't stop type shit, he really can't stop, and he really won't stop. You know what I mean? And if he can't, he knows that in 10 years he can't get himself an actual job. A quick Google search and he's screwed, and he knows that. And in 10 years that ain't gonna change. So that's why he's trying to take people down behind the scenes, and it's not working. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. There's nothing else to really draw upon. It's all there. Hope you guys found it entertaining and whatnot. It's a long one. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but I had a lot to say. I was feeling a bit ranty, I guess. But thank you guys very much for listening, and I very much appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next broadcast whenever that may happen. Hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can count on at GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, I am your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. SnortBucks coffee for life. End the broadcast. Oh, speaking of which, James the Lesser actually put something together for the SnortBucks coffee and whatnot. I'll be implementing that somewhere down the line, so hopefully you guys like it. Thank you very much to James the Lesser for that. Alright guys, I'll catch y'all later.
Word, hey, chopping it with Mittens, joking about his name is so fly. Mittens, cause he whipping, don't you get it, but that stove's hot, hot. Now let this be a lesson, professing, he handling and hitting his possession. Ooh, what you cooking, scalding hot beats, was blow up before it's cooking. Ooh, I know you're looking true, I'm out attacking with this beat, I'm a lady man, I'm really tryna date it out. What's the number tryna call out? What about my team Wood? Shawty don't get logged out, made by Bethesda, the only way we fall out. Morocco, you a mole, find another hole to crawl out. Hey, I'm sick and squirrel with the biggest girls. Slay sister, case it up, I think you're stripping, girl. Damn, how sound that cliche?